Welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Chapter 21. I want you to help me practice. Hancock said coldly. As long as I kill you, no one will know I did it. As soon as she finished speaking, she attacked again with a kick, and Cam's other waist also turned into stone. Damn it. Damn it. This woman is not using her full strength, she is clearly torturing me. Cam screamed in pain. Although the petrified part had no sensation, this lack of sensation was like a part of his organ suddenly disappearing. For Cam, who was not completely petrified, it was like cutting off that part alive. You also torture slaves like this is your retribution. Hancock saw Cam baring his teeth and grinning, revealing a smile of great revenge. Ah, 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 ah. It's none of my business. Cam gritted his teeth, with 10,000 mmp in his heart. Why is all the dirty water being poured on me? How long have I been transmigrated? I don't even have a slave, even the maids were picked up by me. Wait, slaves. Cam's mind moved as if he had been struck by lightning. Boa Hancock. Aren't you worried that the news of you being a slave will be known? Cam roared. Whoosh. As soon as these words came out, Hancock's whole body seemed to have been immobilized, and she froze in place. How do you know? Hancock stared blankly at Cam, her mind blank. Even after knowing that the person in front of her was not Luffy, she, Hancock, still faced him frankly, just afraid that the mark on her back would be seen by Cam. Could it be that the celestial dragon knew about our sisters' identities long ago? No. As soon as Hancock had this thought, she immediately denied it. If the celestial dragon knew that they were once their slaves, with the celestial dragon's possessiveness, she would not even have the qualifications to become a Shichibukai. How do I know? Of course, Straw Hat Kid told me. Cam said casually. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Hancock shook her head, unable to believe that Luffy had sold her out. Cam was slightly stunned, noticing Hancock's reaction. What's impossible? Luffy is a big mouth anyway. Cam really didn't lie to the Pirate Empress. He originally knew about it from watching Open Double Angle Bracket Pirate King Close Double Angle Bracket, and Luffy did slip up just now. Big mouth, Luffy. Hancock's pupils suddenly shrank, and Luffy's shadow couldn't help but appear in her mind. It has to be said that there is a high possibility that Luffy leaked it. Not only do I know, but the Marines who were present at the time also know. Cam said without blushing or skipping a beat, with a hint of threat in his tone. What do you want to say? Hancock gritted her teeth and glared at Cam. They are not fools. If I die unclearly, the Marines can easily associate it with you. Plus, World just invited you to deal with me, a celestial dragon. Do you still think that killing me secretly will not be discovered? Cam glared at Hancock, and found that the offense and defense had begun to change. I. Hancock trembled all over, just now she was too excited and ignored this point. If I die, not only will you be stripped of your Shichibukai status, but Amazon Lily will also suffer a catastrophe because of you. Cam glared at Hancock and said in a loud voice, not only that, but all your past experiences will be exposed, and the news that the world's #1 beauty, Boa Hancock, was once a slave will also be published in the newspaper. Known by the world. No. Hancock covered her head in fear. Her slave status is a fear that she can never face. She must not let the world know that she was once a slave, even if she dies. Only this is not okay. Only this is not okay, I beg you. Hancock knelt down with a plop, her body trembling with fear, her appearance as humble as could be. Just like a slave, just like she used to be. Cam's heart moved slightly, but when he thought that this woman wanted to kill him just now. Cam ordered loudly, come here first and remove the stones from my body. Yes. Hancock trembled all over, her body moved quickly on the ground, her knees rubbing against the smooth stone floor, making a slight rustling sound, as if a whip would be drawn as long as she crawled a little slower. Crawling so slowly. Cam took a step forward and kicked Hancock away. Come here quickly. Yes. Hancock lowered her head, her body trembling constantly, and found that there was a darkness in her vision. Just like more than 10 years ago. Cam cursed. Idiot, don't you know how to walk over? Walk over. Hancock suddenly raised her head. Can't slaves only crawl? Idiot. What are you dazing for? Cam stepped forward and grabbed Hancock's hair, Quickly get rid of these stones for me, it's killing me. And then, Cam pinched Hancock's pretty face. Help me cultivate. At the same time, in a corridor at the end of Ship Island. Where are you running? Luffy's eyes locked on the big python in front of him. Because the big python was wearing Cam's clothes, Luffy, who was a bit face blind, didn't recognize it for a while. Tread, tread. Luffy stomped his feet suddenly, and punched directly. Roar, roar. The big python roared in pain, turning its head and glaring at Luffy, not understanding why this two-legged beast who had been following the master wanted to chase and beat itself. Could it be that he wanted to steal his clothes? Still roaring, still, huh? Luffy's action of making up the punch suddenly stopped, recognizing the big python. Salome, why is it you? Luffy's eyes widened like a husky's, not understanding that the one he was chasing was clearly the celestial dragon. Why did it become Salome? Roar, roar. Salome spat out the snake letter, and circled her tail around to point to her head, which was the place where Luffy had just beaten her. If it weren't for its hard life, its snake life would be gone. Roar, roar, roar. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Luffy shook his head quickly, then suddenly stood up, turned his head and looked back. Damn it, I must have been tricked by that celestial dragon. Salome, you stay safe. I'm going to beat that celestial dragon. Luffy patted Salome's snake head, then turned around and left without looking back. Roar, roar. Salome flicked its tail, indicating that it wouldn't listen to this two-legged beast. Help you cultivate. At this time, in the bathroom, Hancock's body suddenly stagnated, looking at Cam in front of her with puzzled eyes, not understanding what he was talking about. It's just that I want you. Chapter 22. Conquering the Pirate Queen. What? Quote. Hancock's body suddenly stiffened, her face full of disbelief. She even wondered if she had misheard. Didn't you hear me clearly? Cam shouted, grabbing Hancock's neck, determined to take down this proud empress. Damn it. She had already been seen naked by him, and if they didn't spark some kind of romance, it would be a real disservice to his status as a celestial dragon. Moreover, he had her weakness in his hands. And besides, that woman really wanted to kill him just now, so he had to teach her a lesson. And also Wang Luffy, you have cheats, and I have cheats too. I can't beat you now, but I can take my anger out on others. Or should I give you a demonstration right now? Cam grabbed Hancock's slender waist, a smile on his lips. Shameless. Immoral. Hancock pushed Cam away, glaring at him. She was so angry that her chest heaved, realizing that she had been deceived. Cam was not a gentleman at all. What's with that expression? Cam's chest rose and fell violently. He had been holding back a burst of anger from being chased by Luffy and then by the pirate empress. He pointed his finger hard at Hancock, roaring. Don't you dare think of attacking me. Let me tell you, I am the direct descendant of the Clucklade family. Not like those collateral celestial dragon that world killed. If anything happens to me, your three sisters' slave status will be exposed. Your daughter island will also be razed to the ground. Everyone will be buried with you. Clucklade family. Hancock's pupils suddenly shrank, knowing that the Clucklade family was one of the most powerful families among the celestial dragons. Oh, right, and Straw Hat Kid. He will also die. Let me tell you the truth, in order to defeat World, not only have you Shichibukai been summoned this time. Navy's new fleet Admiral Akainu will also personally take action. Cam remembered that Akainu did indeed personally lead the Marine in the movie Open Double Angle Bracket 3D2Y Close Double Angle Bracket. Woo, woo woo. Hancock shed tears of regret, regretting her brain cramp in coming here to take a bath. This celestial dragon identity was a tough nut to crack, and she couldn't touch it at all. Don't be ungrateful. Just based on the fact that you had murderous intent towards me just now. A buster call will descend on your daughter island. Cam only felt extremely hot all over, as if that invincible time had passed. The anger in his heart was getting bigger and bigger, and his temper was getting more and more irritable. Woo woo. Woo woo, I understand. Hancock's body trembled violently, choking with sobs, collapsing like a catkin in the wind, tears falling silently, finally bowing her head to fate. The world only knew that she was a willful and arrogant tyrant, but who knew that it was just a mask she used to hide her fear. If she really didn't care about the country and its people, How could an empress with haki of the Supreme King agree to serve as a Shichibukai? Becoming a world government's lackey in the eyes of most pirates. Luffy, Sa Po Po, and everyone on Daughter Island. Hancock raised her eyes and glanced at the entrance of the bath, then quickly turned her head to look in the direction of Daughter Island, Amazon Lily. Quote. Cam was slightly distracted, but he quickly recovered. Anyway, he was planning to kill Wang Luffy first, and then take down the pirate empress. Now, it was just getting on the bus a little earlier. Whoosh la la la. The hot air in the bath churned, making it impossible to see what was happening inside. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ding == detecting Boa Hancock's favorability towards the host as Hancock's destiny value as Hancock's beauty value is 95 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ding == low favorability cannot trigger wasteland rewards close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ding == detecting that Boa Hancock's favorability towards the host continues to rise close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability plus 10 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability plus 10 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability plus 10 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ding == detecting that Boa Hancock's favorability towards the host is 30, low favorability cannot trigger wasteland rewards close black lens bracket. Cam was full of question marks, wondering if the pirate empress had unlocked some incredible attribute. Deleted. It's Wang Luffy. It's Luffy-kun. Cam and Hancock's expressions changed drastically, and they didn't know what to do in a panic. Hide quickly. Hide where? About 2 breaths later. Only to hear a creak, Luffy pushed open the door. Chapter 23 It's Salome under the cloak. Luffy, you. Quote. Boa Hancock glared at Luffy with shame and indignation. Why did you come in without knocking? Quote. Luffy picked his ear, not realizing the seriousness of the problem. I heard your screams outside. I was afraid some bad guys would try to take advantage of you. Quote. Screams. What the hell screams? I didn't scream at all. Hancock shook her head in her heart, firmly denying this. She raised her eyes and said, Luffy, you must have misheard, I wasn't attacked. How could I scream? Quote. It's true. Quote. Luffy picked his nose and affirmed. Seeing Hancock's somewhat disbelieving, shameful and indignant eyes, he continued to add, I swear. Quote. Hancock was speechless for a moment, a lot of excuses rotted in her stomach. Luffy is good at everything, why doesn't he understand human relationships? I just want to give myself a step down, why don't you understand? If it is really said to be a scream, doesn't that mean I am a Luffy, that? Hancock coughed and wanted to change the subject, but Luffy didn't give her a chance at all. Quote. Luffy narrowed his eyes and noticed the slight bulge behind Hancock's cloak. Hancock. Quote. Luffy pointed at Hancock's cloak. What's under your cloak? Quote. Luffy scratched his head, not knowing why, but he always felt that there was someone hiding behind Hancock, and there was a strange itch on the top of his head. This. Hancock stammered, not knowing what to say. The situation was critical just now, so she had to put on a cloak. Cam had nowhere to hide, so. I thought I could hide it, but the result. Yes. Hancock stammered. Yes, it's Salome. Quote. That's right. It's Salome. It has a fever, so I wrapped it up. Quote. Hancock's eyes lit up, and she finally found a suitable excuse. Salome. Quote. Luffy felt a little weird for a while, but he couldn't tell where it was weird. That's right, it's Salome. Hancock said firmly. So it's Salome. Quote. Luffy shook his head, not bothering to think about what was strange. He smiled and said to Hancock, to be honest, I thought there was someone hiding behind you. Quote. How is that possible? Hancock said with a dry smile. By the way. Quote. Luffy was stunned, lowered his voice and carefully told her, that bastard celestial dragon should have been driven to this neighborhood by me. Quote. You have to be careful and don't run into him. Quote. Luffy. Hancock's face suddenly stiffened, and her mind went blank. Her lips trembled slightly, and she said with difficulty, You mean, you drove that celestial dragon nearby? Quote. Yes. Quote. Luffy nodded emphatically. I almost beat that celestial dragon away. Unfortunately, he was tricked and hid. I don't know where he's hiding. Quote. Quote. Luffy's eyes narrowed slightly, noticing the look in Hancock's eyes that wanted to stab someone. Hancock, why does your face look so bad? Quote. I would be fine. Hancock cursed in her heart. She didn't understand before how Cam, that celestial dragon, fell into the bathtub. It turns out that Luffy can't get rid of the relationship. Isn't this Luffy making trouble for himself? It is worth mentioning, it is naturally not Salome under the cloak. But Cam. At this moment, his appearance is a bit strange. That's right. It's similar to the way Hancock hid Wang Luffy behind her before entering Impel Down. The difference is that Cam's connection is closer. Open black lens bracket ding equals congratulations to the host for achieving hidden achievements, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. Quote. Cam's eyes lit up, as if he had discovered a new continent. Jia, Wang Luffy. I can't beat you today because you're cheating. But I can make you completely defeated in another aspect. Quote. Cam burst out with the exclusive laughter of the villain in his heart. At the same time, Hancock and Wang Luffy are here. Quote. Quote. Hancock's face changed drastically, and she cursed Cam 108 times in her heart. Sure enough. Celestial Dragon are all bastards. The current situation is still. Open black lens bracket ding equals detecting continuous changes in Boa Hancock's favorability towards the host. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability for close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability +5 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability for close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket favorability +5 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket, close black lens bracket. Hancock, what's wrong with you? Quote. Luffy blinked his eyes and found that Hancock's face was even worse. Hancock, are you sick? Quote. Luffy subconsciously approached, wanting to show some concern. Step. Quote. Hancock took a few steps back, keeping her distance from Luffy, for fear of being discovered by Luffy. Hancock shook her head repeatedly. I'm fine. Hancock. Quote. Hancock, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me. Quote. Luffy was really panicked. He thinks Hancock is a very good woman, and he doesn't want Hancock to have any serious illness or anything. Hancock held her face and shook her head. No. Hancock. Quote. Cover your mouth. Cover your mouth. Hancock tried her best to cover her mouth. She cried to death. She really wanted to tear off her unworthy mouth. Luffy, I'm fine, I'm really fine. Quote. Hancock covered her mouth and said with a trembling voice, I just feel a little uncomfortable. I want to be quiet. Quote. It's okay, I'll stay with you. Quote. Luffy was still worried about Hancock, and he wouldn't leave like a chewing gum. Woo woo, Luffy. Hearing this, Hancock cried directly. But it wasn't tears of emotion. If it were normal, Hancock would be happy for a year and moved for a month after hearing Luffy's words. But what time is it now? It's not Salome under her cloak. But Cam. God knows if Luffy will reveal anything if he stays here. God knows what Luffy will think when he sees this scene. Luffy. Quote. I want to be alone. Quote. Hancock's eyes wandered, glanced to the side, not daring to look directly into Luffy's eyes, like a kitten who had done something bad. Quote. Luffy misunderstood and looked in the direction of Hancock's gaze. Only then did I realize that this place is a bathtub. Hancock, you should have said it earlier. Quote. Luffy nodded secretly. It's true that you should take a hot bath when you feel uncomfortable. Quote. He is not a complete blockhead. When a woman wants to take a bath, a man should leave. Unless you pay to stay. This is the truth he has realized, the truth he has realized from Nami. Hancock, I'll wait for you outside. I will never let that celestial dragon disturb you. Quote. Okay. Chapter 24. It's still early. The time wasn't long. Cam, you bastard. Just now. You're simply an animal. You. Quote. Hancock's chest heaved with anger, and she pointed at Cam and launched into a tirade. It's worth mentioning, she already knew that this different celestial dragon was called Cam. As for what was different, she didn't know what was different yet. Ah, right. I'm a bastard, I'm just an animal. Cam nodded repeatedly like a chick pecking rice, but he was secretly laughing in his heart. The system wouldn't lie, although the favorability had decreased, the overall trend was still upward. You're still arguing back. Hancock said angrily, do you know that we were almost discovered just now? If. Ah, right. Cam didn't leave and continued to nod repeatedly. It had to be said that the appearance of the two at the moment really resembled a young couple bickering. At this time, no one noticed that the gap between the two was dissipating bit by bit. Ah, right. When Hancock ran out of words, Cam continued to nod and said, I won't do it again in the future. It's getting late, I'll leave first. Yeah. Hancock nodded in relief, but then she was stunned. Ah, you're leaving. Hancock was full of question marks, thinking how long has it been, why is he leaving already? She hasn't even. What's wrong? Cam was also full of question marks, not understanding what Hancock meant. Cam raised his eyebrows and tentatively asked, could it be that you still? Nonsense. Hancock scolded angrily, resolutely denying it. She's a woman, how could she take the initiative in that kind of thing? Leave quickly. Hancock shook her head and said angrily, I don't want to see you at all right now. Then I'm leaving. Cam replied and turned to the door in the other direction. Hancock looked at Cam's back with a very complicated emotion. By the way, Cam suddenly turned his head and reminded, in this way, you are my woman. After I go back, I will find a way to eliminate the slave mark. Get out, who is your woman? Hancock held her small face and hummed, I had no choice, my heart only has Luffy Kun. Then what about me? Get out quickly. Quote. Cam didn't say much about it. Being able to befriend the world's #1 beauty on this trip was already beyond his expectations. Want to go further? It was simply impossible for someone like Hancock who hated the celestial dragon to death. And who could know the pause in Luffy Kun? Is it a comma, an ellipsis, or a period? The future may be a dash, it's hard to say. Then, Boa Hancock, we will have a long time to come. Cam waved his hand, feeling that this was a good start. Hancock looked at Cam's leaving back, and a sense of inexplicable loss arose in her heart. She found that this celestial dragon, Cam, was different from any celestial dragon she had ever seen. As for what was different, that's right, it seemed to be when he asked her to come over, just now, it was different. Quote. She wanted to stop Cam, but the words came to her lips, but she swallowed them in the end. Hula la la. Inside the bath, the heat was steaming, and the warm yellow light haloed hazily. Water droplets slid down the wall, and a gentle ripple rippled on the water surface. Suddenly, Cam felt a warmth coming from his back, and a pair of soft arms quietly wrapped around him. Hancock leaned against Cam's back and whispered, it's still early, why don't you stay a little longer? Cam turned his head and said softly, okay. Hula la la. Amidst the diffuse heat, tenderness flowed quietly. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 25. Taking down the Pirate Queen is a long and arduous journey. Whoosh whoosh. The setting sun was like blood, dyeing the entire western sky, its afterglow spreading across the sea. The operation to punish World had already ended. Approximately 3 hours after that, Akainu led the elite navy and crushed World in one fell swoop. During that time, he tried many times to find Kamu, this celestial dragon, to use as a hostage. But he probably never dreamed that the pirate empress was with Kamu. At this moment, on the deck of a navy warship, Ding == detecting Boa Hancock's favorability towards the host is continuously cooling down. Favorability -5. Favorability -5. Favorability -5. Opening square bracket ... closing square bracket. System. What the hell is going on? Kamu almost staggered and fell to the ground, not understanding what was happening. Although the pirate empress's favorability towards him had never reached the passing line during the process, the peak value was 50. Now, with one drop, it directly fell into the negative. Host, do you think the pirate empress is the kind of woman who will be devoted to you just because you take her body? Moreover, your identities are simply impossible. Kamu was instantly speechless, unable to refute at all. He didn't even know why Hancock turned back at that time. Could it be that she coveted his body? Forget it, there will be plenty of time in the future. In the future, I will not only take Hancock's body, but also her heart. Kamu shook his head, feeling that the task was heavy and the road was long. Kamu's gaze fell on the red sailboat in the distance, which was the ship of the Kuja pirates. By the way, system. Kamu's eyes lit up, and he asked the system, now that world has been arrested and the content of the movie has ended, can I lead troops to kill Wang Lufei? Returning to the host, the invincible buff of the movie is just a saying. The root cause is still the Nika in Wang Lufei's body, which will not disappear because of the end of the movie, the system replied. I have Kizaru and Akainu here. Can't we just kill him by force? Kamu really didn't want to miss the opportunity to kill Wang Lufei. Although he had a system that allowed him to become stronger by having children takes time. And the timeline of open double angle bracket Pirate King close double angle bracket is quite tight, otherwise there wouldn't be the gag of Doflamingo reading the newspaper. Host, Wang Lufei in that state is really someone who even 10 Rogers would have to take a break from. You should save it, the system said. 10 Rogers would have to take a break. Kamu only felt his scalp tingle, and he was really shocked. He was someone who had a cheat opened by the system, so why did he feel that Wang Lufei was even more of a cheat? That's right. System, it must be the problem that the system is too low. Kamu said angrily. System, you are so useless. Ding equals host, Wang Lufei is the son of destiny in this world, even this system has to avoid his edge. Kamu's expression froze, and he sighed helplessly, that's right. Even if he also has a cheat, Wang Lufei is still the proper protagonist. Forget it. Just consider it as giving Hancock some face. Kamu rubbed his face, his gaze continuing to fall on the perfume Yuta, watching the pirate empress leave. At this moment, on the deck of the perfume Yuta. Hancock looked at the Navy warship in the distance, watching Kamu leave, her face very complicated. Hancock pressed her chest, constantly chanting in her heart. He is a celestial dragon. He is a celestial dragon. But, that kind of feeling, really, I miss it so much. Hancock held her flushed face, not knowing what she was thinking. Hancock. What do you want? Luffy scratched his head with one hand and picked his nose with the other. Could it be something to eat? Give. Luffy took a piece of roasted meat from the pile of food and handed it to Hancock. Hancock looked strangely at the roasted meat with pig bristles that Luffy handed over. Although Luffy is very good, his brain is really too wooden. No need, you eat. She looked up at Luffy and found that Luffy in her eyes didn't seem as perfect as before. Speaking of which, Kamu said he would find a way to eliminate the mark behind me. I don't know if it's true or false. Hancock gently stroked her back, her eyes falling in the distance, and smiled sweetly in her heart. Ding equals detecting Boa Hancock's favorability towards Luffy -8. Ding equals detecting Boa Hancock's favorability towards the host +8. Kamu almost staggered and fell to the ground, not understanding what was going on with Hancock's side. That's right. Kamu shook his head and asked the system again. System, since you said that Wang Lufei's cheat comes from the Nika fruit, and Nika has always been in his body, doesn't this mean that I can't kill him at all? Ding equals according to this system's detection, the power that Nika gives to Wang Lufei is limited. For example, this time Nika consumed a huge amount of power, and it will take half a year to recover. Periodic energy recovery, which leads to Wang Lufei always being able to defeat almost impossible opponents after a period of time. For your original world, there is the rumor that Wang Lufei is invincible in the movie. And while Nika empowers Wang Lufei, he will also shield or tamper with the memories of relevant personnel. This also leads to many enemies, things, and events that appear in the movie, not quite matching the main story. This is a kind of self-protection for Nika. Opening square bracket closing square bracket. The system said in detail, the mechanical voice carrying a trace of seriousness. Good. That's good. Kamu nodded repeatedly, feeling relieved in his heart. As long as Wang Lufei is not really invincible, that's good. By the way, there's also this thing. Kamu paused, looking very strangely at the permanent skill unlocked by achieving the hidden achievement. Permanent skill introduction. Those who hear it are saddened, those who see it are silenced. Using this permanent skill can silence enemies within range, preventing them from using skills. Kamu scratched his head, sad, silent, isn't this, that? Comma. Returning to Mary Geoy's was already 2 days later. Kamu first asked the 3 women for some lessons. The next day, he went to Pangaea Castle to receive his reward. Wise grandson Kamu, is that cuckold's rage of yours really that awesome? After hearing Kamu finish explaining the situation, the 5 elders asked curiously. It's cuckold's rage. Huh. The 5 old men looked blank, and asked, cuckold. What is that? They really didn't know what a cuckold was, but they all thought of the minotaur-like jailer in Impel Down. Don't think nonsense. Kamu said solemnly. A cuckold is a legendary fierce beast. Those who hear it are saddened, those who see it are silenced. Extremely terrifying. As for whether it's that awesome, 5 elders grandpas, you'll know if you try it. Kamu struck a pose of asking for guidance. He wanted to try whether this permanent skill could resist attacks from the 5 elders level. If it could, it would almost be a rule-based skill. Chapter 26. Someone is looking for trouble. 5 elders looked at each other and smiled. It seems wise grandson Kamu is very confident. Satan. Big brother, you go. The other 4 old men. Old 5, you go. Damn, why me? Satan couldn't help but curse, indicating that if he accidentally hurt Kamu, it would become his fault. The other 4 old men said, stop talking nonsense, hurry up and go. I'll go. Satan bit the bullet and transformed into a cuckold's rage. Roar. Cuckold's rage thrust. A deafening roar came, and Satan's cuckold's rage's forelimbs stabbed fiercely at Kamu like a giant poisonous needle. Seeing this, Kamu didn't panic at all, and immediately shouted, cuckold's rage. Whoosh. An invisible energy bloomed. With a click, Satan's forelimbs shattered like a pencil lead hitting a steel plate. It's actually real. Satan was stunned in place. Although he only used less than 10% of his strength, the hardness of his forelimbs was real, and there was no reason for it to be so brittle. Hey, Satan. Seeing this, the other 4 old men immediately said angrily, we know you want to hold back, but holding back like this is harming people. I didn't. Bullshit. Don't we know the hardness of your spider legs? Spider my ass, I'm a cuckold's rage. While Satan was retorting, his limbs quickly returned to their original state, and then he used 50% of his strength to stab Kamu. As a result, this time, not only were his legs broken, but his horns were also broken. Old 5, put some strength into it. Old 5, if you're so weak, we won't play with you. Old 5, can you do it? Quote. The other 4 old men watched the excitement and didn't think it was a big deal, and they all began to complain about Saint Saturn. This kid Kamu is really a bit weird. Satan's eyes narrowed, feeling that Kamu's ability might not be able to resist mental attacks. Cuckold's rage evil eye. Not good. Kamu cooperated and shouted, then pretended to be still. Haha, you've entered my illusion. Satan laughed confidently. He stepped forward quickly and stretched out his sexy spider legs in front of Kamu. Am I beautiful? Do you want to? Kamu. He was dumbfounded at the time. This is Satan. I just wanted to pretend. What did I see? Can this be seen? Endure it. Endure it. I must pretend that I don't know anything, but Satan doesn't give me a chance at all, and immediately reaches out to touch Kamu's face. PFF'd. Kamu chuckled and covered his mouth. Saw, Satan grandpa. Don't worry, I won't tell. The corner of Satan's mouth twitched. You're not affected by the illusion. Satan grandpa. If there are no women in your heart, you can naturally become a god when you draw your sword. How could that kind of beauty illusion work on me? Kamu said seriously. Hearing this, Satan's face became even darker. God damn, no women. Do you think I don't know what you were doing yesterday? This is clearly not being affected by the illusion. Old 5, get out of the way. Seeing this, war god of law Topman Warkari shouted, "You're really embarrassing, five elders." Satan. Damn, if you're so good, you go. Warkari. I'll go. Comma. Half an hour later. The four old men's faces were extremely ugly, and there was also a Satan gloating on the side. Facts have proved. Cuckold's rage can silence any opponent. After Satan mocked the other four old men, he couldn't help but ask, "Wise grandson Kamu, what kind of devil fruit is this? So awesome." At this time, the other four old men also turned their attention, wanting to hear. "I don't know either. I just ate a devil fruit when I was about to die, and then I had the ability." Kamu really didn't know what kind of devil fruit to make up, he couldn't possibly say it was given by the system. He thought that in the future he would acquire other powerful skills, and an unknown devil fruit was a very good excuse. Then wise grandson, does your ability have any weaknesses? Satan asked again. I don't know either. Kamu shook his head. Get lost. The other four old men immediately said angrily, you ask about people's weaknesses as soon as you come up. Even close brothers settle accounts clearly. Even if Kamu knows, he won't say. Ha ha ha, the four grandpas are overthinking it, I really don't know. Kamu replied with a smile, but he felt a little guilty in his heart. He had already experimented yesterday that as long as he didn't shout the name of the move, it would all be treated as a normal attack. The silencing effect of the skill would not be able to play a role. Ha ha ha, you have your own opportunities, and we won't interfere. However, it was our negligence that you almost died. That's right, your Satan grandpa will apologize. Satan said indignantly, why me again? Isn't it because you came up with the bad idea? Satan wanted to refute, but after thinking about it carefully, it was really his idea. Satan thought for a while and asked, by the way, Kamu, your strength is not bad now, why don't you go to the Night Order? No, I just want to kill Straw Hat Kid and then become a useless person. Kamu said truthfully. He just wanted to be an extravagant celestial dragon, and then indulge in tenderness and call out Jaja. Satan nodded and said, okay, personally defeating world is a great achievement. Tomorrow I will inform the whole family. The Makabaka family who was attacked should also come to thank you. We don't agree. At this moment, a roar came from outside the door, and 3 men and 2 women came in. The 2 men at the head, one with a bloated body, resembling a pig, with a simple and honest appearance. The other has a tall body, with 8-pack abs highlighted, and his face is also one of the few good-looking ones among the celestial dragons. But his eyes are full of killing intent. The other 2 women. The women among the celestial dragons are not bad in appearance. They are wearing gorgeous space suits, showing their grace and luxury. Their heads are held high, and the arrogance in their eyes cannot be contained. Kashong, Kalong, Zhenya, Junlai. Kamu murmured the names of the 4 people, and an unspeakable feeling of hatred welled up in his heart. The original owner's death was very strange. It is likely that he died due to family infighting, and these 4 people are Kamu's older brothers and sisters, and are the direct sons and daughters of the Clucklade family like Kamu. The original owner's death must be related to these 4 people. Why is that coward Lucky also here? At this time, Kamu realized. Behind the 4 people, another man was following timidly. It was Lucky, who almost created the protagonist template not long ago. Kashong, Zhenya, we are in a meeting. Saint Warkari stood up angrily, feeling that the 4 of them were too bold. Warkari Grandpa, we just think that Kamu's younger brother's contribution is open to question. A clear and cold voice sounded, and the woman named Zhenya said. What's there to question? Get out of here quickly. Warkari was immediately unhappy, and the sharp pressure directly made the 4 of them breathless. Chapter 27 I became a traitor, how come I didn't know? Don't think I don't know about the mess in your family. But your father asked us to take care of Cam before he died. If you dare to make trouble for him again, don't blame us 5 elders for being merciless. The other 4 old men also stood up one after another, looking like they were ready to fight if you said another word. Bang bang bang. The fierce pressure almost made Kashong and the others unsteady, but Kashong and the others pretended to be calm and said, we accidentally heard that the task of subjugating world was originally Lucky's, our cousin. But Cam used violent means to force Lucky to hand over the task. Saint Warkari, you should know that this is against the rules as the legal military god. While saying this, Kashong and the others pushed Lucky behind them, with a look of smugness on their faces. Satan was stunned, thinking that this wasn't the guy who didn't understand human relationships a few days ago. Satan immediately asked, Lucky, are you dissatisfied with what happened a few days ago? I. Lucky stammered, not knowing what to say. Don't be afraid, we've got your back. Kashong and the others said loudly. I. Lucky hesitated, still unable to squeeze out a single word. He felt very uncomfortable at the moment. He did have his task taken away, but it was the 5 elders who came forward to request the handover. Could he refuse? Lucky wasn't stupid. In short, it was just a formality. The 5 elders were determined to give the task to Kamu. The 5 elders called him here to give him face. Otherwise, with the 5 elders' authority, they could just hand it over directly without even notifying him. As a result, Kashong and the others found out about this and rushed to complain without giving him a chance to explain. Was he to offend the 5 elders and a direct descendant of the Clucklade family? Or offend 4 direct descendants of the Clucklade family? Before long, he made a decision. Kamu. Lucky strode forward and shouted at Kamu with a wronged look on his face. Seeing this scene, the corners of Kashong and the others' mouths rose slightly, secretly delighted. The 5 elders and Kamu all looked fierce. Kamu. Lucky scratched his head, looking like he was trying to please him. Here, this card contains the 1 billion belly I lost in the bet. Bang. Instantly, it was like a bolt from the blue. Everyone was dumbfounded. Kashong and the others. What the hell? Shouldn't you be criticizing Kamu? Then Kamu would lose his credit and be kicked out of the competition for power. And then the 4 of them would continue to compete. Why is this different from what they expected? The 5 elders were also stunned. This Lucky is flexible and adaptable, a talent. Thank you. Kamu blankly took the gold card, and it took him a long time to recover. In the end, he came to the conclusion that this Lucky was really cowardly to the extreme. Lucky. What do you mean? We're helping you seek justice, but you're not grateful. Kalong shouted angrily after a long silence. That's not the case at all, you guys misunderstood. Lucky subconsciously approached the 5 elders and said, the injuries on my body are just because I had some minor conflicts with Kamu, but the task was handed over normally. What Lucky said was true. After Kamu proposed the bet, he agreed. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so happy at the time, thinking he was sure to win. Then he explained the whole story in detail. Like this, like that. Why didn't you say so earlier? Junlai asked with an innocent look. You think I didn't want to say so? Lucky looked resentful. I was kidnapped by you early in the morning, and you stuffed cloth in my mouth. Did you give me a chance to explain? This. Hearing this, the 4 of them were stunned again. Before coming here, this cousin had been wailing, as if he really wanted to say something. A farce. Why don't you leave quickly? The 5 elders stood up one after another, issuing an order to evict the guests. To be honest, this wasn't a big deal at all. So what if he really snatched it? It's just a loss of credit, which has almost no impact on Kamu. It was purely because Kashong and the others didn't want Kamu to have any credit. Because the Clucklade family's internal rules stipulate that the person who inherits the family position must have merit. To take a step back, Kamu was going to kill Luffy, kill Nika, kill the nemesis of their celestial dragon race. No matter how big the matter is, it's not as important as this. Wait. It's not over yet. Not over your mother, get out of here. Satan directly interrupted Kalong's words. Kalong was not annoyed. He pointed at Kamu, his eyes bloodshot, and gritted his teeth. Blame it on father for dying so early. Blame it on father for being so fertile. Saint Warkari. Kalong immediately knelt down on one knee and said loudly, I want to report that Korakuredo Kamu-sei is a traitor to our celestial dragons. Bang. As soon as these words came out, the whole place was as silent as death. But this silence only lasted for half a second. The next moment, Saint Warkari suddenly burst out and swung Kalong. Kalong, what nonsense are you talking about? He didn't ask, he just started hitting him. He punched Kalong 100 times. Kalong. What nonsense are you talking about? Kashong, Junlai, and Zhenya's eyes were full of disbelief. Although they didn't like Kamu, their younger brother, they wouldn't go so far as to put him to death. You must know that a celestial dragon traitor is directly sentenced to death. What's more, Cam hasn't left Mary Geoise in recent years, so he can't possibly be a traitor. I'm not talking nonsense. Cam is a traitor to our race. Kalong said relentlessly. I'm a traitor. Cam's face was full of confusion. When did I become a traitor? Why don't I know? How dare you slander me? He didn't give Kalong any face and joined Saint Warkery in a mixed doubles match. Bang bang bang. Cam is a traitor. The two of them beat him for a full 10 minutes, but Kalong still didn't change his words, insisting that Cam was a traitor. Third brother, stop. At this time, the other four old men were clear-headed bystanders and realized that this Kalong might not be framing him. Let Kalong speak. Hearing this, Warkery was unhappy, but he still let go. Cough cough cough. Kalong coughed heavily, glaring at Cam. Everyone 5 elders, Korakuredo Kamu is indeed a traitor to our celestial dragons. Kalong, you keep saying that I'm a traitor. But as everyone knows, except for the past few days when I went out of Mary Geoise, I've been living at home. Cam was also glaring at Kalong. Even if you are all celestial dragon traitors, I can't possibly be a traitor. Okay, the case is solved. This Kalong is probably the one who murdered the original owner, and he's slandering me for no reason. Cam is right. Hearing this, everyone nodded secretly. Even Kashong and the other 3 were no exception. Kalong pointed at Cam and roared angrily, Cam, don't be arrogant, do you think I can't find out? Then he respectfully looked at the 5 elders and said, everyone 5 elders, according to my investigation, Cam spent a full 100 billion belly to buy a kingdom a few days ago. Chapter 28 I didn't spend your money. What's wrong now? I didn't spend your money. Cam sneered, but felt a little nervous. He really didn't want to betray the celestial dragon, but he really wanted to run away at the time. Okay. It's good that you admit it. Kalong was secretly delighted, and immediately took out several materials to the crowd, and said, I certainly can't control Cam spending money to buy a kingdom. But do you know what? He also wants to move. The kind that moves the whole family. If he didn't want to defect from the Holy Land, why would he move his whole family? This alone is enough to determine that he is a traitor. Accompanied by Kalong's hoarse questioning, combined with the overly detailed information in his hand. Everyone's expressions became wonderful. There was shock, joy, and coldness. Cam, is what it says above true? Do you want to move to that country to live? Finance god of war Nasu Jiro Seong tightened the demon sword in his hand, looking like he would chop someone if something went wrong. The celestial dragon are most intolerant of traitors. Cam did not hesitate and said, it's true. Whoosh. Quote. As soon as Cam finished speaking, the demon sword ghost cutter touched Cam's throat. Rumble. An unspeakable terrifying majesty was about to crush Cam alive. Boss, stop. Satan and Warkery reacted quickly and hurriedly protected Cam. No matter what, you have to let Cam explain, right? The other 2 old men stepped forward and pulled the 3 apart, and said, okay, Cam, you'd better explain clearly. Hee. Explain. Cam sneered and pushed away the 2 old men. I wanted to move, but I didn't move after all. Besides, even if I moved, how am I a traitor? Kalong pointed at Cam and roared, Cam. Don't try to confuse the public. If you are not a traitor, then why move to another country? Could it be that it is better than the Holy Land over there? I heard that you also want to rule those lowly people. Then may I ask, what crime have I committed? Cam raised his voice and questioned, which article in the Holy Instructions says that you cannot go to another country to rule? Nonsense. Of course, is. Huh. What was it? Kalong was immediately speechless, he really didn't know. Quote. Not to mention him, even the legal god of war Warkery frowned and was thinking about what crime Cam had committed. Why did Cam become a traitor? What is it? I'll tell you. Cam's voice was loud, and he turned to face the 5 elders and bowed. 5 elders, please wait a moment and borrow this place's library. He really thought that Cam's painstaking efforts to come up with a comeback plan was for nothing. Moving to another country to be an emperor, before the system appeared. It is the best way to save your life. It's the same for both sides. Soon, Cam took out 2 ancient books. Open double angle bracket Dragon History close double angle bracket and open double angle bracket Dragon Training close double angle bracket. He was not in a hurry to open it, and said coldly, As we all know, the foundation of our celestial dragon was created by 20 kings. Mary Geoise was also built by 19 kings. But you seem to have overlooked that no matter which king it is, they were all kings of a kingdom. Could it be that the ancestors were also traitors? Cam put a big hat on him as soon as he came up, saying that if he was a traitor, then the ancestors were also traitors. Even the Nefeltari family who refused to enter the Holy Land, we only call them aliens. As soon as these words came out, everyone frowned. It was indeed the case. You said I am a traitor. Then take a look at what is written in these books. As Cam said, he open double angle bracket dragon history close double angle bracket. It is recorded that 700 years ago, an ancestor did not like the leisurely life in the Holy Land and believed that ruling the kingdom was more fulfilling. So he asked King the First at the time, hoping to leave the Holy Land and rule a country by himself. King the First allowed it. Cam open double angle bracket dragon training close double angle bracket again and continued. Because of this, King the First at that time also promulgated a new instruction, allowing the celestial dragon to return to the kingdom to rule. The books from 700 years ago are very old. But these contents are clearly written. For a time, the scene fell into silence again. Really think I'm a fool? I don't know that moving to another country to be an emperor may be misunderstood. I only wanted to move and run away after I found these contents in the library. Cam stared blankly at the crowd, quite proud in his heart. But at the same time nervous. 700 years ago was indeed too long ago, and even this content was not recorded in the current open double angle bracket dragon training close double angle bracket compiled into a book. He really doesn't know if this matter can be perfunctory. Quote. Cam secretly gave Satan a look. It's just nonsense. The ancestors all said it's okay. How can it be your turn to beep? Satan noticed Cam's eyes, shouted loudly, and threw Kalong and the 5 others out like catching dolls. After a while, Satan asked in a deep voice, Cam, now can you tell me what is going on? Although the open double angle bracket dragon training close double angle bracket you found is okay, it's been too long. Warkari also nodded and said, Cam, you know that because of the appearance of the Dragon Life Army, the inside is very repulsive to your behavior. That's right. The other 3 old men also nodded, feeling that Cam's approach was not very good. 5 elders grandpas, the reason why I wanted to move and run away is all your fault. Chapter 29. I've traveled through time, who cares about the past? Because of us. The 5 elders were full of question marks. Clearly, you wanted to run away, so why are you blaming us? Originally, I didn't want to say it, but now there's no other way. Lord Cam put on a wrong face and asked, Esteemed grandpas, do you know why I became diligent and hardworking after I woke up from fainting that day? Why? The 5 elders pressed. They were also surprised. Ever since Lord Cam woke up from his coma that day, he had become a completely different person. He directly plunged into the library, burying himself in diligent study, and after a few months, which was not long ago, Lord Cam suddenly learned 2-color hockey. Because I had a dream. This dream was very strange, but also very simple. In front of me was a video phone bug, playing something called open double angle bracket pirate king close double angle bracket day and night. In there. Lord Cam explained it this way at the time. On the day he was preparing to run away, he had already thought of this explanation. In the end, guess what happened? Our clan was wiped out. And the one who destroyed us was Joy Boy, who ate the Nika fruit. I was immediately frightened awake. I knew it was a dream, but I was very afraid it was real. As soon as I woke up, I rushed into the library to see if there really was a Nika fruit, and if there really was a Joy Boy. As a result, I never expected that the content I researched in the library was surprisingly consistent with the content of my dream. Then, I accidentally learned that the Nika fruit was the rubber fruit that was packaged by our clan, and the eater of the rubber fruit was Straw Hat Kid. I was extremely happy after I knew about this. I wanted to ask you grandpas to send troops to encircle and annihilate Straw Hat Kid. Woo, but you wouldn't. At this point, Lord Cam directly burst into tears. He cried so miserably. He cried so sincerely. If Straw Hat Kid doesn't die, I'm afraid that dream will come true. When I think of my status, my women, my wealth, all of these might be gone. I hate it, I'm afraid. So I wanted to run away in advance and buy a kingdom to be an emperor. Although my status is much lower, I can still have a lot of money, and a lot of women. Lord Cam wiped away his tears, with a look of grievance on his face. After that, as you grandpas know, I suddenly mastered two-color hockey not long ago. At that time, I understood. I decided not to escape. Quote. My fate is up to me, not the heavens. I must personally kill that Straw Hat Kid, so that's why I was so eager to kill Luffy at that time. I have a dream, I want to continue being a celestial dragon. Lord Cam pretended to be a selfless hero, but he felt deeply in his heart. Because these were not all lies, 60% were true. As said before, since you are here, be at peace. He had finally transmigrated into a celestial dragon with immense power. The kind where you don't have to do anything to have endless money, and one order can bring countless beauties, material needs, physiological needs, and spiritual needs can basically satisfy all the needs when he was on Blue Star. He couldn't wait to enjoy that forever. Wasn't 996 on Blue Star tiring enough? As for justice and evil, he had already transmigrated, who cares about the past? Woo woo woo, good child. We wronged you. Don't worry, Kalong's slander against you will be taken care of by us. Hearing Lord Cam's difficulties, the five old men's tears flowed out like a waterfall. How could they, each an old monster, not know whether Lord Cam was lying? Partly true, partly false. They didn't know the specifics. But they knew that Lord Cam was afraid and wanted to run away was true, and that he eagerly wanted to kill Straw Hat Kid was also true. That was enough. Fear is human nature, fearing the loss of status, women, wealth, this is the kind of profligacy a celestial dragon should have. Because he was afraid of these things and wanted to run away, this was very reasonable, and wanting to kill the person who deprived him of these things was even more reasonable. As for the dream Lord Cam mentioned, the five elders preferred to think that it was Lord Cam's excuse to cover up his timidity. But on careful thought, they felt that something was wrong, but there was no need to delve into it. Just like Lord Cam said, he still didn't move. Lord Cam hummed, thinking that this reaction was not right. Shouldn't they just be moved, and also shocked? Shouldn't they ask me about the future with a serious face? Lord Cam couldn't help but ask, could it be that grandpas don't believe what I said? We believe, we believe. The five old men cried and replied perfunctorily. Ah, this. Lord Cam's face suddenly turned livid. Could it be that everything he said was for nothing? But this was also good. Because of his appearance, the future was definitely different from the original trajectory. The most direct difference. Wong Luffy not only wears a straw hat, but also a green hat. Comma comma. Comma comma. Half an hour later, Lord Cam returned to his palace as if nothing had happened. Husband. I want to have children soon. Mancheri said straightforwardly. Lord Cam was immediately delighted when he heard this. He had this idea on Ship Island. Have offspring first, then go out to deal with Wong Luffy. Okay. I won't go anywhere these days. In the following days, Lord Cam stayed in the room. 1 month later, Mancheri was pregnant. Ding == detecting that Mancheri's favorability towards the host is 95, detecting that Mancheri's fate value is 80, and detecting that Mancheri's beauty value is 88. Triggering offspring reward. Offspring reward. 60% heal fruit devil fruit. 7 days later, Anna followed closely behind. Ding == detecting that Anna's favorability towards the host is 95, detecting that Anna's fate value is 10, and detecting that Anna's beauty value is 90. Triggering sowing reward. Offspring reward. Observation hockey improvement. Time passed slowly. Lord Cam, am I very useless? Monet looked disappointed. Because Anna and Mancheri were both pregnant. She had been favored the most these days. But, sigh. Why don't you call me husband and try a few more times? Hearing this, Monet's pretty face flushed red. But she didn't refuse. Comma comma. Then another month passed. Still no movement. Comma comma. Half a month later. Woo woo woo. Woo woo woo. Sister Monet, you don't have to worry, the doctor said it's not your problem. It's just that the timing wasn't right. Anna and Mancheri both advised. Timing. Monet stopped crying, and was stunned, not knowing what she was thinking. Chapter 30 Hunting Selection. Hey. At this moment, Cam, feeling isolated, became unhappy and resentfully said, "Don't you care about me at all?" Cam was feeling bitter. For the sake of the child. I've gotten thinner. Shouldn't I be the one crying? Just then, the three of them frowned and said rather mournfully, "Since husband, Lord Momonosuke, has spoken, we must discuss husband. It's only been half a month, how could husband be unable to continue?" At this point, the three of them exchanged glances, then sighed deeply with meaningful expressions. Damn. Good heavens. Seeing the three of them with the same look of disappointment on their faces, as if he wasn't trying hard enough. Cam inwardly exclaimed, "Good heavens. How long has it been? And they're already united." But the next moment, he realized something. What? I can't. The three women rolled their eyes at Cam. Otherwise. Monet just wants a child, but husband, sigh. She also doesn't want to force that. I. Cam stammered, his face instantly turning red, and he said stubbornly. Nonsense. A righteous and stern speech. Hearing this, the three of them secretly rejoiced. He. Then husband, and Monet, we won't disturb you. Afterward, Mancheri and Anna voluntarily left the room. 10 days later, Pangaea Castle. Satan exclaimed in surprise, "Wise grandson Cam, what have you been doing these past few days?" Cam chuckled dryly, Nothing. Cam, you are still young, you should pay more attention to your health. Satan coughed, not exposing him, thinking, is it really necessary for something that takes less than 3 minutes? Got it, is there something you need me for, Satan grandpa? Cam asked. Didn't those 4 old men instigate me a few months ago to apologize to you? Satan handed Cam a document and said with a smile, Here, you originally didn't have this qualification this year. I used my connections to get it for you. You must perform well. Satan thought for a moment and reminded him, oh, right, Kalong was also released from prison early because of this. You should be careful of his revenge. Got it. Cam nodded, then glanced at his appearance, feeling it was necessary to eat something to replenish himself. So he exchanged for a life return technique similar to King Wong Luffy's from the system. Mary Geois can be divided into 3 parts, the outer city, the inner city, and the main city. Among them, the inner city is where the celestial dragons reside. The main city, also translated as Pangaea Castle, is where the Gorosei hold meetings and the World Conference. In the outer city, there are a large number of merchants traveling between the 2 seas and marines maintaining order. At this moment, in the outer city, inside a restaurant. Bang! 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 Under the stunned gaze of the other customers, Cam devoured 5 cows, 12 sheep, 50 geese, and 200 bowls of rice in one go. Oh, right, and 2.5 chickens. This life return was worth it, my handsomeness is back. Cam patted his stomach. His body, which had lost 30 pounds, instantly returned to its original state. And with the battles of the past few months, the experience points Cam had accumulated had reached over 1 million. It is worth mentioning, experience points are a universal currency. In addition to being able to exchange for items in the system store, they can also be used to increase the level of various skills. For example, raising basic observation hockey to intermediate only requires 1 million experience points. I'm only over 900,000 away from getting that cultivation method. At that time, Boom boom boom. Just then, a loud bang. A figure, like a cannonball, smashed directly in from outside the building. Without deviation, it hit Cam dead center. Cam. Damn it. I was just eating a meal, why am I so unlucky? Cam immediately exploded, picked up the cannonball, and was instantly stunned. Lucky. Why is it him? Hiss. How unlucky, we've encountered celestial dragons fighting again. Celestial dragons fight, mortals suffer. Daughter, quickly smear mud on your face. Anxious voices rose and fell inside the restaurant. Everyone wanted to slip away, but with celestial dragons here, according to the rules, they had to kneel. This made it impossible to slip away. And at the same time, a scruffy man wearing a glass dome also appeared in view. Lucky. If you dare to do that again. The scruffy man hadn't finished speaking when he heard a bang. A fist, without deviation, hit the scruffy man's glass dome dead center. The force of the punch didn't dissipate, and it directly dented his head. Hiss. The originally noisy restaurant instantly fell silent. Someone hit a celestial dragon. Holy cow. Who is that person? Isn't he the tough guy who ate 200 bowls of rice? Doesn't he know that's a celestial dragon? I just saw that the cannonball happened to affect him. Sigh. He must be a greenhorn who just came to the Holy Land for the first time. He's finished. Quote, quote. Cam listened to the discussions, his face full of black lines. Damn it, all of you shut up. His grandmother. It's just that I'm not wearing a glass dome, making it seem like I'm afraid of him. Who isn't a celestial dragon? Immediately, under everyone's astonished gaze. Bang bang bang. Cam threw punch after punch. He unleashed a barrage of attacks on the scruffy man. And at the same time, a lewd old man flashed out and asked, "What's going on?" Admiral Kizaru, someone is beating a celestial dragon. A marine in the restaurant said. Kizaru was instantly surprised and wanted to see which tough person dared to hit a celestial dragon. When he saw Kizaru, he was instantly speechless. It's fine, let him hit him. But, the marine was about to say something else when he saw Kizaru flash back with a whoosh. Kizaru. MMP. I thought I could earn some extra money. Marine. Everyone. They were very confused. The Marines aren't going to intervene when a celestial dragon is being beaten. Hiss. I remember now, he's the direct descendant of the Clucklade family, he's also a celestial dragon. At this moment, a Marine finally recognized Cam's identity. He's also a celestial dragon. And a direct descendant. Everyone immediately understood. Those who were eating their melons ate their melons, and those who were watching the excitement watched the excitement. As for Cam, he didn't stop until the scruffy man was left with only one breath. Lucky thanked him. Thank you, Cam. It's nothing, I also have something to ask you. Cam pulled Lucky to sit down, took out the document Satan had given him not long ago, and asked, "What is this? I see your name is in it too." Lucky said, "Cam, this is the hunting competition. Hunting selection." Cam's expression stiffened. He knew what the hunting competition was. But since the God Valley incident 37 years ago, few people dared to sign up for the hunting competition. This event had basically been put on hold. Seeing Cam's confused look, Lucky explained, since the incident 37 years ago, although the hunting competition has basically stopped, the internal reward mechanism is still in place. Here, Lucky said, taking out a poster. Revitalize the holy race. Strive to be an excellent celestial dragon. Gibberish. Gibberish. Welcome our holy race sons and daughters to sign up enthusiastically. Wait. Cam's attention immediately focused on the words, sign up enthusiastically. Didn't that old man Satan say that the qualification was hard to get? He's messing with me. He immediately asked. You can't completely say that Lord Satan was messing with you. Lucky nodded and explained, you were originally a third class, and according to the rules, you couldn't sign up again. What third class? Cam was instantly confused. The original owner had always lived in the palace, and some memories were very vague. He really didn't know. Lucky was stunned for a moment, then understood. It's normal that you don't know. You are a direct descendant. Your status is more precious than a first-class person. Lucky thought for a while and said, actually, within our celestial dragons, besides being distinguished by direct and collateral lines, we are also divided into 4 classes based on ability. Like me, I'm a second class. My intelligence is normal, and I have 2-color hockey. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 31 Strange Reward, Dragon Bloodline Transformation. Like Cam, you used to be third class. Normal intelligence, but no combat power. But now you are also a second-class person. People like Charlos, who have intelligence problems, are fourth-class people. And the first-class people are the proud sons of heaven who possess hockey, conquerors. Speaking of this, Lucky's face was full of envy. Cam noticed Lucky's gaze and asked curiously, do you also want to become a first-class person? Of course. Lucky nodded and said, I can't change my bloodline, so I will use my ability to gain respect. This is what a celestial dragon should say. Cam was stunned, and then asked, so that's why you were so persistent on that credit last time. Quote. Hearing this, Lucky's face turned black. Was I persistent? I just wanted some benefits. You hit me without saying a word, you don't understand the ways of the world at all. I want to ask you something, tell me the truth. Seeing Lucky's cowardly appearance last time, Cam was convinced that he was not the one who attacked the original owner, so he asked about it, and Cam told the story. It couldn't be me. Lucky shook his head quickly. He said that even if he had 100 guts, he would not dare to murder the direct line of the celestial dragon family. Lucky continued. Or rather, we in the collateral line have no hope for that position. I just want to gain a firm foothold in the collateral line of the family. Alright. Seeing Lucky's appearance, Cam was completely sure that the person who wanted to harm him before was definitely not Lucky. Lucky has normal intelligence, hockey, and is a little famous in the family. But it's just a little, there are still many people in the collateral family who are stronger than Lucky. Since that's the case, I'll give you a chance. Cam said with a smile, follow me, and I guarantee you'll have a good time in the future. Not to mention gaining a firm foothold in the collateral line, it's not impossible to become the number one person in the collateral line. Although Lucky's strength is not good, he is still someone who almost created a protagonist template. It's definitely right to catch him as a younger brother. Huh. Lucky looked puzzled, with 3 question marks seemingly growing on his head. Although Cam is very liked by the 5 elders, the power structure within the celestial dragons is not the 5 elders, and you still want me to have a good time. You don't believe me, do you? Cam snorted lightly and asked, do you know why those old men were so insistent on sending me to attack world last time? Lucky shook his head. I don't know. Let me tell you. So, Cam told about Luffy eating the Nika fruit. And the 5 elders were afraid that the secret of the Nika fruit would be exposed, and they could not make a big move. Hiss. Hearing this, Lucky's eyes almost popped out, his face full of horror. Are these secrets that I can hear? I have to acknowledge you as big brother today. Now you understand, right? The 5 elders have already entrusted me with the task of eliminating Wang Lufei, so. Big brother. Cam. Huh. I was dumbfounded at the time. I haven't finished fooling you yet, and you directly called me big brother. Okay. Since you call me big brother, what was the name of that bastard who beat you just now? Cam was in a great mood and laughed. I'll take you to beat him now. Ah, that's not very good. What's not good? Let's go. It's really not very good. What's not good? Whoever chickens out is a bastard. Lucky couldn't resist Cam's enthusiastic invitation and went together. As a result, you dog, you slept with someone else's woman. You really deserve it. Cam was so embarrassed. Big brother has to be reasonable when seeking revenge. Ask, why did you beat my little brother? Answer, he slept with my woman. This directly killed the conversation. How can we seek revenge? As a result, that dog Lucky even admitted it. Lucky. I reiterate, she seduced me. She said I last longer. How long? 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes, damn. How do you know, big brother? Lucky exclaimed, looking at Cam like he was looking at a god. He had never told anyone about this, let alone the big brother he just met today. Of course I know everything about astronomy and geography. Cam said with the appearance of an otherworldly expert. Joke. How could he not know? Among the tens of thousands of celestial dragons, he is the strongest. There is no one. By the way, big brother, this is the reward list for the selection competition, take a look. With that, Lucky took out a poster again. Cam took it and glanced at it. Land, gold and silver, rare devil fruit, slaves. It's all this kind of thing, nothing new. Obligatory marriage Alabasta royal family Princess Vivi. As a result, when Cam saw this, he was stunned. This, what the hell is this? Cam pointed to this inexplicable reward and asked. This Lucky smiled meaningfully and said, big brother is from the direct line, you should know better. Huh. Cam frowned, thoughtfully. As mentioned earlier. As the bloodline of the celestial dragons declines, some enlightened people in the upper echelons of the celestial dragons hope to revitalize the celestial dragons with the pure royal bloodline of the Alabasta royal family. So, this is not right. Cam asked in confusion. If you really want to improve the quality of the celestial dragons through intermarriage, then why is the threshold still so high? The entry threshold for this so-called selection competition is third-class people, and to get the reward, you must be at least second-class people. People who can reach this level basically would not be willing to intermarry with underground people, even if the Alabasta royal family once had the bloodline of king. This reward is basically empty. Big brother Kam, let me tell you, you must not tell outsiders. Lucky pointed to the top. I heard that the people above are not very willing. The five elders? Kam asked. It's above the five elders, Lucky said softly. Huh. Kam's eyes flickered, curiously looking at Lucky. As expected of a guy who almost created a protagonist template, a collateral line, even knows about the existence of a Mu. Above the five elders, isn't that a Mu? But why? Could it be because of Queen Lily? Kam didn't know, but he already had a new direction. As a person with the soul of a new youth in the 21st century, how can he have the heart to let a princess of a country be arched by a pig? You must know that most of the men in the celestial dragons look like pigs. If you really want to be arched, you can only be arched by yourself, a strong and handsome beast. Thinking of this, Kam smiled again. Jia. Big brother, what are you giggling about? Bang. Big brother, why are you hitting me? Comma. 2 days later, this hunting selection also began. Location, Celestial Dragon Coliseum. 100-person melee. There are no rules, just fight. Then rank according to the scores given by the Night Order. Coliseum, Night Order seats. Satan patted Kam on the shoulder, his face full of expectation. Kam, you have to perform well. Satan grandpa. Kam asked with a smile, why do I always feel that you care about me too much? Could it be that my old man is your and grandmother's illegitimate son? Quote. Satan's face turned black. I'm wrong to be optimistic about you. I wanted to kick Kam out directly. But I still held back, and took out a list with a dark face and said, here, these are the people you need to pay attention to, they are all the best of the hockey powerhouses. Chapter 32. Revitalize the Saint clan and strive to become an excellent celestial dragon. Kam took it and glanced at it. He was immediately surprised. Didn't they say that Kalong would take revenge on him for getting out of prison early because of this? Where is he? This hunting selection is the best time to make a move. Are Kalong and the others not participating? Kam asked. They participated in the previous sessions, but the higher-ups want to hunt again. Satan stopped halfway through his words and sighed, well, just do your best. It's just some resource allocation, something that direct descendants like you don't even care about. I know. Kam didn't think much about it. The rewards for ranking high in the hunting selection were not attractive to direct descendants like him. It's better to go flirt with Vivi. I will do my best. Kam said loudly. Good. Satan smiled and praised him repeatedly. At the same time, the other parts of the Colosseum were also noisy and extremely lively. The formal hunting competition was cancelled because of the God Valley incident 37 years ago, which made the celestial dragons too scared to hunt anymore. However, the hunting selection competition, which was originally a preliminary round, has become a competition to screen fresh blood for the celestial dragons, and it is very important. Is that the direct descendant of the Clucklade family? At this time, a celestial dragon noticed Kam on the knight's seat, chatting and laughing with the five elders. Is he the talent who spent $1 billion belly to buy a kingdom? More celestial dragons focused their attention on Kam. He spent $1 billion to buy a kingdom, which was discussed by many people as being stupid and rich, and he became famous. Shish. Aren't you afraid of being hurt by him? He is a strong man who personally crusaded against world. Some people also remembered Kam's merits a few months ago and spoke up for Kam. HMPH, he is just a direct descendant. Everyone knows the exaggeration in his merits. That's right. Quote. Kam, even if you are not a traitor, I will not let you go. Kalong in the audience glared at Kam in the distance with hatred, looking like he wanted to eat him alive. Third brother, give it up. Fifth brother has no way out of joining the fight for power. Let's rely on our own abilities when the time comes. Kashong and the other three all shook their heads and advised him. Big brother, what are you saying? Kalong was immediately dumbfounded. It had only been a few months, and their address to Kam had changed, and they had begun to call him, fifth brother. I can't give up. Kalong clenched his fists and said angrily, because of that little bastard, I suffered a lot in the small dark room. I will definitely settle this debt. Slap. At this moment, a slap directly hit Kalong's face. A voice sounded in his ear. Kam owes my Makabaka family a favor. Kalong, you better keep your thoughts in check. Who is it? Kalong was instantly unhappy and was about to find someone. But after turning around for a long time, he didn't see who hit him. The scene changed and came to the Night Order's seat. Satan was also here as a judge. He looked at the beautiful woman next to him and asked, by the way, is the punishment for the last place still marriage? Otherwise what? The beautiful woman rolled her eyes at Satan. Satan continued to ask, then is the behind-the-scenes manipulation of these young people still? Quote, quote. The beautiful woman didn't speak, but looked at Satan like he was an idiot. The meaning was obvious. Damn it. Those pedantic. Satan directly slammed the table and cursed loudly. Satan, you don't need to worry so much. The beautiful woman yawned and said lazily, Lord Amu didn't say anything, those guys just changed the marriage to punishment, and the behind-the-scenes manipulation didn't violate the rules. Not worried. Satan sneered and said, our celestial dragons are either mentally retarded or deformed. Or they look like pigs. I'm really not worried. Satan couldn't help but be angry. Ever since the bloodline factor was discovered, Satan had advocated that the celestial dragons intermarry with the Alabasta royal family to improve the quality of the celestial dragons. Not for anything else. Before, he didn't know why there were so many mentally retarded people among the celestial dragons. Later he knew, inbreeding is really not good. How is Cam, the one you were optimistic about? The beautiful woman waved her hand, not wanting to discuss the previous issue. She asked with a smile, although he stood up for my Makabaka family, everyone knows the exaggeration inside, maybe he can fight for the bottom. Satan said impatiently, I've said it so many times, his strength is real, there's no exaggeration. It's impossible to be at the bottom. But, at this point, Satan suddenly smirked. I found that he looks honest on the surface, but he is actually a pervert. He has already done that with 3 ordinary women. Tisk tisk. This kind of shameless celestial dragon is most suitable to be thrown into marriage. When the time comes, I will directly arrange for him to marry. Their offspring will definitely. The more Satan spoke, the more excited he became, his eyes glowing. As a scientific defense martial god, he is very happy to use scientific methods to improve the quality of the celestial dragons. Shish, don't talk. The beautiful woman made a shushing gesture. The competition has begun. Oh. Revitalize the holy race, strive to be an excellent celestial dragon, the hunting selection competition officially begins. At the same time, as the host's voice fell, hundreds of people directly filled the entire Colosseum. In an instant, the atmosphere became tense. Bang bang bang. Clang clang clang. Boom boom boom. Swords, blades, fists, and shadows crisscrossed the field. Everyone was fighting fiercely, hoping that their figure could be seen by the higher-ups. Huh. Where is Cam? Satan chatted with the beautiful woman for a while, and when he looked up again, he found that Cam was gone. The beautiful woman also hummed. Everyone on the field was fighting fiercely, but Cam was nowhere to be seen. She immediately asked a member of the Night Order next to her. Look. The Night Order member pointed to a corner with a dark face, hiding over there. At this time, a corner of the Colosseum. Lucky asked nervously, Big brother, is it really okay for us to hide here? Go, what do you mean hide? Cam said with a dark face, we call this being low-key. We call this being cautious. We call this knowing ourselves and our enemies. As Cam spoke, he opened the list of strong men that Satan had given him not long ago. Look, that bald guy who uses his fists is very strong, we have to be careful. We won't touch that woman over there who uses a sword. We won't touch that guy over there who shoots light waves either. Let's hide first, and when they are tired from fighting, we will go up. When the time comes, our ranking will definitely be high. That's what Cam said. In fact, he was observing whether the strong men on the list would shout out their moves names like Chunas. With the skill Cuckold's Rage, he can almost be said to be invincible in defense, but the enemy must shout out the skill name. If that were the case, he could go on stage now and say the bold words that everyone here is trash. As a result, the more Cam looked, the more depressed he became, and the more he wanted to cry. MMP. What are you pretending to be aloof for? Shout out the name. Shout out the name. You don't even have a name for such an awesome skill. Dynamic Light Wave. At this moment, the only power user on the list suddenly shouted out his move name. Chapter 33 I mean, everyone here is garbage. Cam was stunned for a moment. He remembered clearly that the man was very aloof just now, not saying a word, just releasing energy waves. Why is he shouting now? Sword light is like me, cutting down everything. At this moment, the woman using the sword also shouted the name of her move. Serious series, serious. At the same time, the bald man also shouted loudly. What the FCK? Cam was completely confused. But soon he realized the problem. The reason why those experts shouted out the names of their moves was either because the enemy provoked them, or because the opponent was also an expert. Haha, that's right. Not all celestial dragons on the field have haki. According to ability classification, there are still many, third-class citizens who would use Qing dynasty soldiers for no reason. Thinking like this, Cam turned his head and asked, Lucky, do you think I am considered an expert in their eyes? I believe Big Brother is strong, but others don't think so. Lucky shook his head. Got it. Cam nodded. Let's go now. Aren't we going to play it safe? Cam jumped up and immediately shouted loudly, Wait a minute. I have something to say. Cam's voice was very loud, causing everyone who was caught in the battle to be stunned. They stopped their movements and turned to look at Cam. The audience in the stands also looked confused. That's Cam. He hasn't been eliminated yet. What is he going to do? Even the people on the Night Order judging panel looked puzzled. Is he not planning to play it safe anymore? While a series of questions arose in everyone's minds, Cam also signaled to the host and took the microphone snail. Cam. At the same time, someone on the field said unhappily, What are you doing? It's still a competition. Cam was immediately amused when he heard this. This is just right. Immediately, he raised his head, pointed at the man. You trash bald head, what are you babbling about? Didn't you see this direct descendant is talking? That look. He almost wrote arrogance on his face. What? As soon as these words came out, everyone on the field stared with eyes as big as dumbbells, with faces full of disbelief. What did Cam just say? He actually said that he was bald in front of Chi Yu, and also called him trash. The three things Chi Yu hates the most: being called bald, being called trash, and being called a bald trash by relying on his status as a direct descendant. Cam has all of them. There's a good show to watch now. Everyone in the Coliseum stopped and looked like they were watching a show. What are you looking at? Seeing everyone's gazes shifting, Cam said loudly, Don't misunderstand, I'm not targeting anyone, I mean everyone here is trash. As soon as these words came out, the field was as silent as death. Then there was an uproar. Quote. What? We are all trash. Bullshit. Cam is scolding the people fighting on the Coliseum. Bullshit. Cam said everyone here is trash. Aren't we here? Ha ha ha. Kalong grinned and said, Our fifth brother's brain must be broken. Provoking public anger, if he is accidentally beaten to death, the clan will not be able to fully pursue responsibility. Satan, this Cam is really extremely arrogant. On the Night Order judging panel, the beautiful woman put away the idea of slapping Cam to death, and said with a face full of resentment, This is scolding us all. They are also here. Are they also trash? The beautiful woman's voice was cold and said, Arrogance is a good thing, but arrogance without strength is just a clown. Oh. Satan raised his eyebrows. He also didn't understand what Cam was doing at first. But he immediately thought that even the five elders couldn't break Cam's defense back then, so how could these 100 or so young celestial dragons? Immediately, he smiled and said, Why don't we make a bet? The beautiful woman. You don't think Cam can win, do you? Satan. Otherwise. At the same time, on the Coliseum. After a brief silence, everyone exploded. Damn Cam. God damned Cam. Do you really think you can act recklessly by relying on your status as a direct descendant? You are not the only direct descendant on the field. Kill him for me. There are so many people on the field, even if Cam is killed, it is impossible to punish everyone according to the clan rules. A direct descendant celestial dragon shouted angrily. Yes. Kill him. Dynamic light wave. Sword light is like me, cutting down everything. Serious. Quote. Everyone was angry and waved their strongest moves, even some aloof, eccentric people who were not used to shouting names made up move names and shouted them out. What Kam's must-kill fist, what Kam's go-to-hell gun. For nothing else, just for the sake of momentum. Bye-bye big brother. Looking at the dense and countless killing moves in front of him, Lucky's mouth trembled. We weren't supposed to be low-key. TCH. Cam rolled his eyes at Lucky and said, look at your useless appearance. After today, we will be the most handsome guys. He was not panicked at all. If these enemies didn't use big moves, he, Cam, would definitely not be able to win. His two-color hockey was only at the beginner level. But those who used big moves and shouted their names were exceptions. Cam didn't hesitate and shouted loudly, Cuckold's Rage. Rumble. At the same time, Chi Yu's fist, Cow miscellaneous sword technique, and dynamic light wave blasted towards Cam from 3 directions. That posture was terrifying, and it really had the momentum of a sure kill. It's over, Cam is really gone. Why do you have to court death when you can do anything else? Ha ha ha. If fifth brother dies, I will be able to get more family property. Not good. Even the high-level night order responsible for the safety of the contestants broke out in a cold sweat. He might not be able to save Cam in time. No. The beautiful woman next to Satan couldn't sit still. If this continues, Cam will really. The beautiful woman was about to take action, but was stopped by Satan. The beautiful woman said angrily, Satan, why are you stopping me? Ha ha ha. Satan shook his head and chuckled, pointing to the field. Look. The beautiful woman was very surprised the previous second. Look at what? Look at Cam's corpse. But the next second. The beautiful woman was shocked, her mouth opened so wide that she couldn't wait to stuff a pot in it. Ha! You guys didn't eat, use some strength. I saw Cam yawning, looking like he hadn't woken up yet. Cam was not hurt at all. The attack that was enough to kill a high-level Night Order member did not hurt Cam at all. Not to mention hurting him, even the clothes on Cam's body were still as clean as new. Bang bang bang. Within a 10-meter radius of Cam, it seemed to be wrapped in an invisible force, and no force could penetrate it at all. The entire Colosseum formed 2 distinct areas. This scene was quite like the scene of a peak battle between 2 big shots. But the problem is that there are only 2 people on Cam's side, and one of them hasn't made a move yet. Doesn't that mean that Cam alone is a big shot? Is this Cam's true strength? Damn, which bastard said Cam was a fraud just now? This kind of strength is probably stronger than some high-level Night Order members. Quote. Everyone present was shocked. But before everyone could continue to be shocked by Cam's strength, the recording of the microphone snail in Cam's hand came. Or all trash, or all trash. Everyone. The pot exploded again. This Cam is 2FC King crazy. Damn it. Damn it. Don't worry, although I don't know what kind of ability user he is, he must have consumed a lot just now. Now is the weak moment. That's right, continue to attack. As long as our stamina is still there, we can keep attacking. Bye bye big brother. Lucky was surprised the previous second, but his mouth trembled again the next second. The people on the field were right. The price of that kind of outrageous defensive ability must be extremely painful, and it will definitely not be possible to use it again in a short time. What are you worried about? Just watch. Chapter 34 I want to contribute to the Saint clan and expand my family. What's there to worry about? Just watch. Koraclide Cam didn't care at all. He wasn't worried about how many attacks there were, he was only afraid that he wouldn't draw enough aggro and someone would use a normal attack on him. That would be troublesome. Right. Draw aggro, he had to draw aggro. Koraclide Cam waved his hand and produced a small stool, took out a loudspeaker, and put on a phone bug microphone. He looked just like a vegetable vendor, the only difference being the loudspeaker he was using to hawk his wares. Everything is trash, everything is trash. Very insulting. But Koraclide Cam still didn't think he was drawing enough aggro, so he just stuck out his middle finger. Come on, you guys. Ah. That's too damn insulting. Although I don't understand it, I feel that gesture is even more insulting. Even if I don't want a ranking, I have to take down Cam. 100 or so celestial dragon all screamed and attacked Cam, but as soon as they approached within 10 meters of Koraclide Cam, their legs went weak. Small fries. Koraclide Cam and Lucky chuckled. Taking advantage of their weak legs, they quickly stepped forward and threw 2 punches. Something's not right, retreat first. There were some quick-witted celestial dragon who realized that the ability Koroclide Cam displayed was a defensive type. As long as they didn't provoke him, they seemed to be safe. Still not enough aggro drawn. Koroclide Cam smiled as he looked at the celestial dragon who wanted to play it safe, and immediately picked up the loudspeaker. Lord Fine Dog Saint only lasts 2.5 seconds, but he falsely claims it's 2.5 minutes. Lord Green Hat Saint, your son isn't your biological son. Quote. A bunch of scandalous things were all revealed, and he even used a live phone bug to play them on a loop, and some even used video phone bug to show slideshows. There were spectators here. They also had to save face. How could they not attack after such humiliation? Immediately, they used their ultimate moves, shouting loudly. Soon, the hunting selection was over. Without suspense, Koroclide Cam was first, and Lucky was second. 1. Koroclide Cam laughed loudly, feeling that after his performance today, even if he encountered Celestial Dragon who wanted to cause trouble for him in the future, they would have to think twice. Even if they really came, they probably wouldn't just use normal attacks to test him. Big brother, you're too awesome. Lucky's eyes were shining. Ever since he was beaten to a pulp by Koroclide Cam last time, he knew Koroclide Cam was strong, but he didn't expect him to be so strong. Koroclide Cam is indeed very strong. The defeated people nodded. Although the process was very humiliating, they were also people who could afford to lose. And the most unhappy person must be Kalong. Damn it, damn it. Kalong roared to the sky. How did Koroclide Cam suddenly become so strong? Fifth brother actually. Kashong and the other three frowned, and then they were secretly glad. Although they had also suppressed Koroclide Cam, they didn't do it excessively. Kashong said with a smile, Fifth brother is really fierce, we have to pay him a good visit when the time comes. After all, we are all family. Junlai nodded and said, that's right, we are all family. By the way, Kalong. Zhenya rolled her eyes at Kalong and said, you should also have fewer crooked thoughts about fifth brother in the future. Yeah. Kalong nodded subconsciously, but the next moment he realized something was wrong. Wait. What did you call me just now? Kalong, are you stupid? Have you forgotten your own name? Zhenya said. Kalong, I think we should stay together less in the future. I'm afraid fifth brother will misunderstand, Junlai said. Kalong, I think fourth sister is right. You should stay with us less in the future, Kashong nodded. Huh. Kalong was instantly dumbfounded. These days, they had always been calling him third brother, but now they were calling fifth brother so affectionately, but he was being called by his name. For a moment, he felt like a clown. At this time, on the night seat, Satan looked at a beautiful woman beside him, smiling so much that he couldn't close his mouth. A bet is a bet, you have to agree to one condition of mine. Did you already know the result? The beautiful woman frowned, and asked with a face full of anger. Tell me, what exactly is Cam's ability? It looks like the defense of the barrier devil fruit, but there is no barrier action. Every time he releases that kind of defense, he shouts Cuckold's Rage. And, the beautiful woman's eyes narrowed slightly, and she asked again, what is Cuckold's Rage? This. Satan paused, and immediately told the events that Koroclide Cam had experienced that day, which Koroclide Cam made up, one by one. At the moment of life and death, he accidentally discovered a devil fruit and ate it. Based on the ability, it should be an unknown devil fruit. As for that Cuckold's Rage. According to Koroclide Cam, Cuckold's Rage is a legendary ferocious beast. The kind that makes those who hear it sad and those who see it silent. Huh. Seeing Satan's face that wasn't nonsense, the beautiful woman sighed and said, okay, I'll admit defeat, what do you want me to do? Hee. Satan made a look that all men understand. Get lost. Not even 3 minutes. The beautiful woman rolled her eyes at Satan unhappily, feeling that they female celestial dragon were really too miserable. This time is different. Satan smiled and took out a vigor pill, saying that this was Koroclide Cam's secret weapon for singing and dancing every night. At this time, the hunting selection has ended, and next is the selection of rewards. It is worth mentioning, the rewards are self-selected, that is, starting from the first place. This is also the fundamental reason why Koroclide Cam doesn't want to be low-key. Although he feels that according to the nature of the celestial dragon, it is unlikely that they want to marry underground women. But what if Koroclide Cam On the podium, the Night Order executive in charge of the award said with a serious face, "Please choose your 3 prizes. I want 5 billion belly, a rare devil fruit. And." Coraclide Cam raised the corner of his mouth and pointed to the column of obligatory marriage Alabasta royal family Princess Vivi. "Also, I want this." Huh. What the hell? Don't want the reward, want the punishment. That executive felt that he had heard wrong, so he asked again, "Cam, you say it again." "I said, I want to choose to marry Vivi. I want to contribute to the holy race, I want to start a family for the family." Coraclide Cam put on a look of, "If I don't go to hell, who will?" indicating that he was contributing to the holy race. What is Cam doing? Doesn't Cam know the rules? As soon as this remark came out, the expressions of everyone in the arena became complicated, and some didn't understand what Coraclide Cam was doing. At this time, Lucky pulled on the corner of Coraclide Cam's clothes and whispered, "Big brother. You misunderstood, that's not a reward." Huh. Coraclide Cam looked dumbfounded. If it wasn't a reward, what else could it be? Didn't it clearly say reward? That's right, you cut in line by relying on connections, so it's normal if you don't know. The Night Order executive was stunned for a moment, and then said, "That's not a reward, but the punishment for the last place." "What? Punishment? Sending a wife is a punishment. Give me 100 of this kind of punishment." Seeing Coraclide Cam's unbelievable look, the Night Order executive immediately took out a magnifying glass. "Here, look carefully. It really is." This time, Coraclide Cam saw clearly. In front of obligatory marriage Alabasta royal family Princess Vivi, there were extremely small words, punishment. Damn it. Who is this small font for? Big brother. Lucky supported his forehead and said speechlessly, "You should have said you wanted a woman earlier, I would have gone to sea to catch one for you today." Chapter 35. Female Celestial Dragon Disguised as a Man. "You knew it was a punishment long ago, but you didn't tell me." Quote. Cam was exasperated, feeling that Lucky was too incompetent as his little brother. Big brother. If it wasn't a punishment, why is it labeled as an obligation? Lucky said with a very wise look. Bang. Big brother, why did you hit me again? Quote. Hit you. I really want to slap you. Quote. Cam had a face full of anger. If he had known it was a punishment earlier, he would have gone directly to the field. There was no need to go through so many twists and turns. Night Order's Lord, I don't want a reward, I want punishment, I just want punishment. Quote. Cam was really anxious. The last place in the hunting competition is probably a pig-headed monster. The thought that Vivi, who should have been his woman, would be taken by that kind of guy, made him hate it in his heart. I want to contribute to the family, I want to start a family for the family. Quote. Cam was relentless and continued. In fact, Lord Satan told me that he wanted to improve the quality of Celestial Dragon. Quote. Satan. When did I say that? I can see now why you think he will definitely intermarry. Quote. The beautiful woman snorted softly. Except for those with brain damage, which Celestial Dragon wants to have offspring with those lowly people. I think he is pretending to contribute, but his mind is full of that kind of thing. Quote. Improving the quality of Celestial Dragon through intermarriage means that this is an intermarriage for the purpose of having offspring. Among normal Celestial Dragon, there are LSP, but these LSP will never let these women tarnish their bloodline. Satan smiled and said, isn't that good? It's what you want and what I want. Quote. The beautiful woman gave Satan a look. It's just that Cam is willing, but Nefertari's side is not. Quote. We force them to be willing. Quote. Satan smiled and said, same thing. Quote. That's right. Quote. The beautiful woman nodded, as if thinking of something. But, it seems that my granddaughter is the one who is manipulating this shady deal. Quote. So Cam is a big SP. Quote. The people on the field were not fools either. After hearing that Cam was eager to intermarry with the alien royal family, they knew what Cam was up to. I thought Cam was a hero, but I didn't expect, tisk tisk. Quote. Deleted. Holy crap, really. Quote. Is that fake? Quote. If Cam is only like this, then there is nothing to worry about. Quote. Those Celestial Dragon who were insulted and defeated were more happy. If they were always trapped by beauty, then Cam's achievements would be destined not to go far. Hee hee, fifth brother likes women. Zhenya and Junlai had flattering smiles on their faces. You. Quote. Kashong looked a little strange and said, we are at least biological siblings. That's not good, right? Quote. Big brother. What are you thinking? Quote. Zhenya and Junlai retorted angrily at the time, fifth brother likes women, we can send women over to befriend him. Quote. Humph, you still want to curry favor with Kam. Celestial dragon scum who want to tarnish the bloodline. You are also. Pa. Before Kalong could finish speaking, he was slapped away. What scum? Satan formulated the saint race optimization policy more than 20 years ago. Kam is sacrificing himself for the greater good. Quote. Elder. Quote. This time, Kalong finally saw who hit him. The beautiful woman beside Satan, the top figure of God's knights, was someone who could really slap him to death without any consequences. You be careful. Now our internal talents are withering, it is best not to have internal strife. Quote. The beautiful woman glared at Kalong and ignored Kalong. With a swoosh, she left the scene and returned to her seat with another swoosh. Beautiful woman. Done. Satan. Okay. If I don't go to hell, who will? For the long-term survival of my saint race bloodline, I am willing to be the vanguard. Quote. To start a family for the family. I, Kam, will not shirk my responsibility. Quote. At this moment, Kam had tears in his eyes, with a sincere look of vowing to shed his blood for the family. Ah, this. Quote. The high level of Night Order looked at a loss. According to the rules, the punishment is for the last place and cannot be changed. But now the first one is begging for punishment, should it be given or not. At this moment, a voice transmission came. The Night Order high level was stunned, and looked at the beautiful woman next to Satan, and immediately understood. Kam, I know your loyalty to the saint race. But the rules cannot be changed. But, quote. The Night Order high level changed his tone and said, however, it is also stipulated that the punishment can be replaced. Quote. If you really want to intermarry with that alien race, you can talk to the last one. Quote. At the same time, at the entrance of the Colosseum, a handsome man flashed out, who was the last one in the hunting competition. If you look closely, you can see that her chest is slightly raised. Quote. Why haven't I seen him before? And it's not a pig head. Quote. Kam was stunned at first, and walked over quickly. When he got closer, he was stunned again. Mom. Female. A woman is stealing women from me. Could it be? I'm so. Kam howled painfully in his heart. Without thinking too much, he put his hand on the shoulder of the woman dressed as a man, crying with tears and snot. Brother, please do me a favor, you can't handle this punishment, give it to me. Quote. Quote. Mingmei was about to be dumbfounded at the time. After she tied her chest, that thing was very scattered, near the shoulders. He couldn't be doing it on purpose. Impossible, absolutely. I am a woman disguised as a man. And he called me brother. Quote. Mingmei was sure in her heart that she had not been seen through. Pretending to be aloof, not talking, right. Quote. Kam cursed secretly in his heart, and immediately pretended to want to hug her. He knew that this kind of woman who likes women can't stand men the most. This bastard. Quote. Mingmei panicked when she saw that Kam wanted to hug her. She was just ordered by her grandmother to get to know this Kam. She didn't want to be taken advantage of for no reason. She couldn't care so much at the moment, and immediately agreed to Kam taking the punishment for her, and then symbolically said a few good words and ran away in a hurry. The only condition was to take her with her when going to Alabasta. 3 days later, without saying much, head to Alabasta. Tisk tisk tisk. Big brother. This ship is so big, so awesome. Quote. Lucky was shocked. He was sure that their celestial dragon's ships were definitely not that big. Hehe, this is the trophy that Big Brother and I seized when we were crusading world. Quote. Kam had a proud look on his face. This ship island is really bigger than some islands. He sometimes wondered why World and the others had such a big ship. It would be more profitable to open a hotel on it than to be a pirate. Esteemed Saint Crocrade Kam. Quote. Kaji said in surprise. Alabasta is located at the beginning of Grand Line. There are many pirates and it is extremely dangerous. Are you sure you will only bring these people? Quote. Chapter 36. Pirates Attack. Alabasta. Crocodile is gone, what danger is there? Quote. Cam rolled his eyes at Kaji. Besides, you are a candidate admiral, are you afraid of pirates? Quote. Kaji, Gion. Code-named Tokikake and Momosugi respectively. If the world military draft hadn't produced a blind man and a gluttonous freak, they would have been proper admirals. One Kaji is enough to protect me. I can't steer this ship, Cam, come quickly. At this time, Mingmei, who was already in position on the ship, said angrily. Hiss. Seeing Mingmei, Lucky's eyes widened, his face full of disbelief. Why is the direct descendant of the Makabaka family here? And she's wearing men's clothing. Huh. Cam frowned and asked, do you know her? I. Lucky wanted to tell the truth, but when his eyes caught Mingmei's man-eating gaze, he shook his head. I don't know her. Cam said unhappily, then why are you hissing? Lucky touched his nose. I'm just curious, why is she, a bottom feeder, here? Mingmei said impatiently. Cam, come and start the boat. Coming. Cam didn't think much, he just needed to know that Mingmei was a celestial dragon in disguise. That, big brother. After sailing for a while, Lucky couldn't help but ask, why aren't you two wearing saint clothes? Huh. Cam and Mingmei were both stunned and looked at each other. They said in unison, those clothes are not good looking. Huh. The two were stunned again, then looked at Lucky and said in unison, you should change too. Huh. Cam and Mingmei were stunned again and looked at each other again. They both saw surprise in each other's eyes. It was very tacit. Comma. At the same time, Alabasta's capital, Alubarna. The world government is bullying people too much. Seeing the news from the world government this morning, Princess Vivi slammed the table, her face full of anger. Ah. Damn it. I haven't even met him, but they want me to marry him, and he's even a celestial dragon of inferior birth. As the Alabasta princess, she, Vivi, is very clear about what kind of stuff the celestial dragons are. Scum. Baseborn. And ugly pig-headed monsters. I would rather die than marry those scumbags. But this is the world government's order. Alabasta has just ended the war for more than a year, and a lot of security relies on the marines sent by the world government. Agaram, the captain of the guard, frowned. Agaram, what do you mean? Pell, the vice-captain of the guard, looked angry. Do you want Vivi-sama to sacrifice herself to preserve the country? I'm just telling the truth. Agaram said softly. A minister nodded and smiled. Actually, I think this is a good marriage. Princess Vivi marrying a celestial dragon is only beneficial to Alabasta. That's right, others don't even have the chance to marry a celestial dragon, right? Quote. More and more ministers echoed, all thinking this was a good opportunity to curry favor with the world government. What's the use of stability in exchange for the princess's purity? Vivi-sama is the future queen. She cannot marry any man. Belle instantly erupted and roared. I think the benefits you are talking about are fake, and the real thing is that you want to steal power. Hearing this, a pointy-faced minister was immediately unhappy. Then tell me. What should we do about the current situation? The pointy-mouthed minister continued. It's certainly good that Crocodile was defeated, but without her threat, more and more pirates have begun to harass the coastal cities. Our military strength is weak and we have no effective means of defense at all. Now that the world government has taken a fancy to Vivi-sama, they will probably be happy to help Alabasta. Bullshit. What does these two things have to do with each other? Bullshit. How can there be no relationship? Quote. In the ward, more and more ministers were arguing about this issue until their faces were red and their ears were red. They were almost about to fight. Oh. I really envy Luffy and the others. Looking at the quarrel of these ministers, Vivi's face was full of sorrow. Sometimes she thinks, if she were not a princess, but just an ordinary person, wouldn't she be much freer? Wouldn't she be able to continue sailing with the Straw Hat crew? Cough. Vivi, what's wrong? At this time, Cobra, who was awakened by the noise, asked. Ah, father. Vivi was taken aback, but immediately calmed down and said, it's nothing. It's just that some pirates are always harassing the coastal cities, it's not a big deal. Is that so? Cobra propped himself up from the hospital bed and thought for a while. Vivi, if you really encounter any problems, you can ask the world government for more marines. Although they are useless, they will still sell the Nefertari family's face. Huh. Why would the world government sell his face? Vivi was skeptical, but she still nodded and said, "Okay, father, I will." Vivi didn't tell the truth, she really didn't want her father to worry anymore. Since half a year ago, her father's health has been getting worse day by day. The doctor said that he might not live for more than a year. Report. Report. At this moment, a guard ran over in a hurry. What's the matter? Vivi asked. Vivi-sama. The guard respectfully saluted and said, according to the report from the scout, nearly 1,000 pirates will enter the Nanohana pier, and the Nanohana mayor is urgently requesting support. Nearly 1,000. Vivi's heart trembled. But on the surface, she was still calm. Okay, I know. She looked at her father on the bed again. Father, I have to go there myself. Take care of yourself. Vivi, you, be careful yourself. Cobra's pale face was full of worry. Don't worry, father. Vivi patted her chest confidently and said, I have also been a pirate and been on the battlefield. 2 days later. Nanohana City Conference Hall. Vivi-sama, according to the information from the scout. The pirate who will land at Nanohana this time is the new pirate Zahuzi, who has a bounty of 90 million belly. The Nanohana deputy mayor said with palpitations. What? 90 million? How can it be so high? Agaram next to him could hardly believe it. This is still a newbie. This bounty is higher than crocodiles. Yes, Agaram-sama. The deputy mayor explained. It is said that Zahuzi not only robs property, but also likes to torture and kill civilians, so the initial bounty is extremely high. Vivi-sama, I suggest that in order to avoid unnecessary casualties, we should relocate the people as soon as possible. We should be able to complete the relocation before they arrive. Don't worry, a high bounty doesn't mean that strength is necessarily strong. Vivi asked, sweating coldly and nervously, are there any devil fruit users among these people? The deputy mayor obviously swallowed and nodded. Yes, that Zahuzi is a Logia devil fruit user, and his ability is unknown. Bang! It was like a bolt from the blue. It directly blew Vivi's last bit of luck into Za. Dealing with Logia. She really has no way to deal with it, but she, as the Alabasta princess, has to pretend to be calm. It's okay, we are not without ways to deal with Logia users. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 37. Robbery hits the celestial dragons. Vivi wiped the sweat from her forehead and ordered, Agaram, take the people and evacuate immediately. Pell, go to the other cities and urge the navy to come. I will personally lead the guard to resist these pirates. But Vivi-sama. Agaram and Pell wanted to say something, but facing Vivi's resolute eyes, they couldn't say anything. Report. Report. Just then, news came suddenly. What's the matter? Reporting, Vivi-sama, a large ship has appeared in the waters 5 miles from Nanohana Wharf. Is it a pirate? No, it should be a merchant ship entering our country, the scout replied. Damn it, a merchant ship at this time. Agaram looked at Vivi warily, his face full of anxiety. According to Vivi's character, she doesn't want anyone to die for this, even if they are not her people. As expected, Vivi said with a serious face, start acting now. But the time to act is still. Vivi said sternly, I said act now. Damn it, this is just nonsense. The deputy mayor looked resentful, saying that the life and death of foreigners was none of their business. But this is Vivi-sama. Agaram and Pell smiled at each other, feeling that this was Princess Vivi's charm. Report. Report. Just then, more news came. What's the matter? Reporting, Vivi-sama, that Zahuzi saw a merchant ship entering the dock and landed ahead of time. Agaram's face turned pale. Oh no, we haven't had time to transfer the people. The deputy mayor was furious. Damn it, it's all that merchant ship's fault, it's all their fault. In an emergency, Agaram, you go and protect the people. Pell, you come with me to protect that merchant ship. My Alabasta will never allow any foreign friends to die in a foreign land. Vivi also panicked. After correcting the order, she immediately turned over and got on the dock, rushing to the battlefield. Report. Report. When Vivi led the guard 2 kilometers away from the dock, more news came. The accompanying deputy mayor's legs went weak. My God, don't let there be any more bad news. Pell asked for Vivi. What's the matter? Reporting, Lord Pell, we won, we won. The scout said happily. What? Pell was instantly dumbfounded. We haven't even sent troops yet, and you're telling me we won. Huh. Vivi on the side was also obviously stunned. I was ready to fight to the death, why did I suddenly win? The scout replied, reporting to Vivi-sama, that big ship is Vice Admiral Tokikake. Kama. At the same time, Nanohana Wharf. Thousands of pirates were all captured. Bang bang bang. Cam punched Zahuzi in front of him. Aren't you very awesome? Aren't you worth 90 million belly? Aren't you going to make me not see the sun tomorrow? Cam really thought this person was a talent, robbing a celestial dragon. I meant it will rain tomorrow. Zahuzi had a dark face and still didn't understand how he could meet a vice admiral from Marineford by robbing someone. Huh. Cam was obviously stunned. It seems like there is a way. Bullshit. It's going to rain in this big desert. With a bang, Cam punched Zahuzi again. Vice Admiral Kaji. At this time, Mingmei couldn't help but asked, is he really a pirate with a bounty of 90 million belly? His strength is a bit too weak, right? She felt that this kind of stuff was worth 20 million at most. He is indeed worth 90 million belly. Kaji nodded and said, but it's not because of his strength, but because he slaughtered many civilians. Huh. No wonder my slaves are not enough, it turns out these dogs killed them. Lucky was very upset and raised his fist to beat Zahuzi. I'll come too. Mingmei was also angry, knowing that pirates who kill people are different from pirates who rob money. Ah. Zahuzi let out a pig-like scream, only feeling his head buzzing. That old man is a vice admiral, he knows hockey. But why did these three brats know hockey? Reporting, Lord Cam Saint, we have found out. Zahuzi plans to massacre Nanohana today. At this time, a marine came to report. Huh. Hearing this, Cam glanced at Zahuzi coldly. I thought we lured you here, but I didn't expect. After becoming a celestial dragon, he, Cam, doesn't pay much attention to those fights. Anyway, he is also determined to be a celestial dragon who bullies men and dominates women. But since he was caught, and he robbed him, Cam said with a serious face, Kaji, contact the navy stationed in Nanohana and parade these pirates through the streets 10 times. Then send them to impel down. Yes. Kaji saluted seriously. Not long after, Kaji quickly handled everything, and the group left the city of Nanohana and headed straight for Alabasta's capital, Alubarna. Big brother. On the way, Lucky suddenly asked, Big brother, why do I feel that those lowly people look at me with more respect than when I wear the saint clothes? Mingmei rolled her eyes at Lucky. We helped them repel the pirates, how can they not be grateful to us? Kaji gave the three a meaningful look, but Cam said nothing. At this time, Nanohana Conference Hall. Is that person really Cam Saint? Vivi's face was full of disbelief. The person she regarded as a hero the second before, you tell me he is a celestial dragon the next second. Anyone would find it difficult to accept for a while. Vivi-sama, there's no mistake. The young man in the lead is the celestial dragon Korakuredo Kamu. He is the marriage partner assigned to you by the world government, Agaram said solemnly. Vivi-sama, what do we do now? They left in the direction of Alubarna, and their target is Vivi-sama. I didn't expect that Cam Saint was so shameless that he came to snatch people in person. Vivi-sama, I'll take you to escape abroad. You can't be touched by the celestial dragon, Pell suggested. Alas, Pell. Vivi sighed and said, take me back to the palace. I'm afraid that if I'm not there, they will vent their anger on father. In any case, Cam led nearly 1,000 pirates through the streets, which is a fact. Because of his arrival, repelling the pirates is also a fact. Vivi is grateful for this. Although it can't be called a good impression. But in her heart, the celestial dragon named Cam is not as unbearable as she imagined. But, Pell wanted to say something. Vivi waved her hand and shook her head, just like those ministers said. If I can only be like that, at least the world government will give more navy assistance to our country, right? Vivi sighed. Think of the good things, at least he's not a pig-headed monster. 2 days later, Cam and his party arrived in Alubarna. Before coming, Cam didn't think so much, he just wanted to marry Vivi and then Jia. But when he really arrived, he was directly depressed, because he found that he and Vivi had no intersection at all. Not at all. He has watched Pirate King, of course he knows Vivi, but when he stands in front of her, she won't recognize him. Cam frowned and asked, Lucky, what do you say I have to do to get Vivi? Chapter 38. Kaji, am I ugly? Lucky had a wicked grin on his face. No need to think about it, just rob them directly. Bang. Big brother, why did you hit me again? Lucky rubbed his head, feeling aggrieved. He felt that this big brother would hit him at the slightest provocation. Cam said angrily, directly robbing them is the worst option. Vivi's personality is relatively strong, so forcibly robbing them is not a good idea. Lord Cam, I think you can use tricks and deception like last time. At this time, Kaji said with a gleam in his eyes. Damn it, when have I ever used tricks and deception? Cam was annoyed, feeling that Kaji was talking nonsense. When had he ever used tricks and deception? After reprimanding Kaji, Cam shifted his gaze to Mingmei. On the way, he had asked Satan through a phone bug, and this woman was a direct descendant of the Makabaka family. Although Satan didn't explain why this woman was disguised as a man, or why she was the last in the hunting selection, Satan was very sure that Mingmei was not interested in women. Cam immediately asked, what do you think? HMPH. Why do you men like to rob? Mingmei snorted coldly with a look of disgust. Huh. Cam was stunned, curiously sizing up Mingmei. He thought to himself that this disguise as a man was not convincing at all. This remark had exposed her. I mean. Facing Cam's strange gaze, Mingmei immediately realized that she had said the wrong thing. She immediately became clever. I mean, we men can't just know how to rob. So that's how it is. Cam slapped his thigh, acting as if he had just realized something. He was too lazy to expose her. Let this woman do whatever she wanted. But her words really reminded me. It was too easy to win over Monet and Mancheri. Even Hancock later was thrilling but without any real danger. Monet and Hancock were because I had something they cared about in my hands. Mancheri was because I was her hero from every angle. Does Vivi have something she cares about? If I had transmigrated 2 years earlier, it would have been fine, but now. Cam only felt a headache, feeling that the time of his transmigration was really uncomfortable. He immediately decided to respond to all changes with constancy, and said, forget it, Vivi probably doesn't know that we've come to Alabasta yet. Let's just play for a few days first. Okay. The three of them nodded in agreement. That night. Big brother. Lucky found Cam alone. I think I should still say some things. That celestial dragon is actually a direct descendant of the Makabaka family, named Makaba Mime Palace. I know that. Cam nodded and then asked, I want to know why she is the last one. This Mingmei Palace can use hockey. Based on strength, it's impossible for her to be the last one. And during the hunting selection, I never saw her at all. Actually, this matter is not a secret among us. Lucky nodded slightly and explained, ever since the intermarriage punishment appeared, in each hunting selection, everyone would spontaneously organize and elect a woman to be the last one. The Alabasta royal family's descendants are also women. Women cannot give birth to descendants with women, so this punishment cannot be carried out. And the higher-ups also tacitly allow this kind of operation. Lucky said with a look of disgust. After all, no one wants their descendants to do that kind of thing with the descendants of commoners. Bullshit. They don't understand the pleasure of doing that kind of thing with commoners. Cam was annoyed, thinking that he would definitely have more and more ordinary women as wives in the future, and he would definitely be ridiculed in the future. So he wanted to drag one more person down with him. Lucky, here, this is a vigorous pill. Cam coughed lightly, waved his hand, and took out a vigorous pill. You can go, like this, like that. Big brother. Are you crazy? Lucky's eyes widened like dumbbells, his face full of disbelief. You actually want me to be with that kind of unclean commoner? What do you know? Big brother is doing this for your own good. Cam said seriously. Don't you want to exceed 2.5 minutes? HMPH. I, Lucky, would rather starve to death. Die outside. Jump from the building. Alright. The law of true fragrance. Cam smiled and waved his hand, dismissing Lucky. Lucky. What true fragrance? I haven't even made a poisonous oath yet, why are you letting me go? So Lucky returned to his room and made another poisonous oath. Not long after Lucky left, Kaji also found Cam. Thump. Lord Cam Saint, please teach me how to use tricks and deception. Kaji knelt down directly, his face full of sincerity. What the hell? You're still saying I use tricks and deception? Kam said with a dark face. When have I ever used tricks and deception? Kaji was unmoved and cried. I have confessed to Gion almost 100 times, but she just won't accept me. Ever since I saw Lord Kam Saint trick the dwarf princess into his hands last time. I admire Lord Kam Saint from the bottom of my heart. I just want to ask you to teach me your skills. Kaji's eyes gleamed, his tone full of admiration. Ah, this. Kam frowned at Kaji's sincere gaze. It seemed that a few months ago, when he was being chased and beaten by Berserk Luffy, Kaji was the first to take action. Kam thought for a while and said, I can't teach you any skills, but I can let you understand your shortcomings. Kam looked up at the clock and said, it's still early, let's go out and have some fun. Since ancient times, gambling and prostitution have been inseparable. During Crocodile's era, Rainbase had the largest casino in the country. After Crocodile's downfall, Rainbase's casino was sealed up. But strangely, Crocodile was not involved in the equally profitable adult entertainment industry for some reason. Therefore, a large number of adult entertainment industries that emerged were able to continue to survive. Soon, they arrived at Urubana's largest red light district. This is 5 million belly. Kam waved his hand and took out a gold card, saying, let's not reveal our identities and use this money to have some fun inside. Ah, isn't this a brothel? Kaji's face was full of black lines, indicating that as a Navy Vice Admiral, how could he come to such a dirty place? Bullshit. Didn't you see the sign? Kam pointed to the banner on the door of the shop and said, Life Experience Hall. It seems so. Kaji thought for a while and felt that it made sense. Immediately, he changed into civilian clothes and wore a mask. Now I'm not Kaji anymore. I'm Kaji. Huh. The receptionist immediately recognized Kaji. Boss Kaji, long time no see. Ah, this. Kam's face was instantly colorful, and he felt that Kaji hadn't come for the first time. Ah, this. Kaji's old face turned red, thinking, why did he recognize me? Comma. After a night of romance, early the next morning, the two met at a tea house. Awesome. Kaji was extremely happy. You must know that the salary of a Navy Vice Admiral is not too high, and he can't go to such high-end red light districts a few times a year. Usually, he can only find some small workshops to relieve his longing for Gion. Kam asked straight to the point, how was it? Thank you, Lord Kam Saint, I found a beautiful sister. Kaji said a lot of flowery words, wildly exaggerating, wishing to tell all the details one by one. TCH. Kam rolled his eyes at Kaji, only one. I gave you 5 million belly. But that sister said it was 5 million belly once. Kaji scratched his head, saying that it had always been this price. Ah. One time. Kam was shocked. He thought that this place might be ripping people off, but he didn't expect Kaji to be ripped off so badly, and every time. Then Lord Kam Saint, your results. Seeing Kam's unnatural expression, Kaji suddenly felt that he had been fooled. 5. Kam smiled and stretched out his palm. Hiss. 5 people. Actually 5 people. Kaji exclaimed. Calculating it this way, Kam Saint only spent 1 million belly per person. It turned out that he had been ripped off so badly. Too small, the pattern is too small. Kam waved his hand repeatedly and said, I mean 50 people were fighting for me. And it was a full set, and it only cost 50,000 belly. What? Hearing these words, Kaji was shocked. 50,000 belly, and a full set. This price is even cheaper than the small workshops he occasionally goes to. Kaji asked, Lord Kam Saint, could it be that you cheated? Did you reveal your celestial dragon identity? First, if they knew I was a world noble, they would just give me money. Kam retorted. Second, I don't like cleaning trash cans. That's right. Kaji nodded and asked again, then why don't I have this kind of treatment? Kam said loudly, because I'm handsome and you're ugly. I'm ugly. Chapter 39. Revenge for the murder of my father. I am afraid that I will never feel any emotion again. What about me is ugly? Vice Admiral Kaji's face was full of black lines, and he was unhappy at the time. Lord Kam, a scholar can be killed, but not humiliated. Kam Saint rolled his eyes at Kaji and asked a passerby, is he good looking? Passerby. Bleg. Kaji didn't give up, and asked the passerby with an angry face, am I handsome? The passerby shivered. Yes, very, Bleg. You don't know how to appreciate. Kaji gritted his teeth in anger, and refused to admit defeat. He asked people if he was handsome all day long. As a result, Kaji went back to the hotel and changed his clothes 30 times, because he was vomited on by passers-by. The next night, Cam Saint gave Kaji 10 million belly. This time, 5 little sisters came to Kaji. The next day, Kaji fought again as a high-level Navy officer. This time, he finally got his wish. Now you know where you lost, right? To be popular with women, in addition to a sincere heart, you also need wealth, status, and a handsome appearance. They correspond to material needs, spiritual needs. Guion and you are both Navy vice admirals, and both are admiral candidates. Your status is equal to hers, you often go to brothels, and her wealth is probably greater than yours. As for your appearance, tell me how many people have vomited on you. Cam Saint explained seriously. That's not right. Kaji slapped his thigh and said with a wise look, even after I showed my wealth and status, it's still less than 50,000 per time. I'm younger than you know what I mean. Cam Saint covered his face, feeling that Kaji was just making trouble for himself. Bullshit. You celestial dragon don't even last 3 minutes. Kaji glared at Cam Saint, he knew some secrets of the celestial dragon. Cam Saint. Slander. Defamation. My worst record is 3 minutes and 01 seconds, okay. Bang bang bang. Cam Saint instantly became violent, and immediately unleashed a set of combo punches at Kaji. After a long while. Call me boss from now on. I'll take you to do great things in a few months. If we succeed, you might become an admiral. Maybe, we can make it happen. Cam Saint smiled, then took out a power pill from the system space and handed it to Kaji. What is this? This is. Cam Saint was about to say that this was a power pill that could restore people to their peak. Hey, don't eat it now. Hick. Kaji ate it and even hiccuped. It tastes pretty good. Kaji licked his lips, but why do I feel like I've grown taller? Damn it. Cam Saint was taken aback and found that Kaji had changed his appearance at this moment. At this moment, Kaji's body straightened up, his physique became burly, and his appearance also became visibly younger. Is this a power pill? Could it be that I exchanged the wrong one? Does the power pill have this effect? Cam Saint couldn't help but ask the system, feeling that this medicine was comparable to a small rejuvenation pill. Power pill. While increasing strength, some users will slightly improve their physical performance. The effect of the medicine stops and returns to its original state. The system explained in detail. This is not difficult to understand. An 80-year-old man, no matter how strong you are, the hardware is not good. In this case, the power pill will sacrifice part of its medicinal properties and convert the energy into hardware improvement. So that's how it is. Cam Saint nodded secretly. Big brother, where have you been playing these days? Why don't you take me with you? At this moment, Lucky pushed the door open. The next moment, Lucky's eyes widened like a husky's, staring at Kaji in astonishment. Damn. Kaji, you. It's always, damn, can't you be a little more cultured? Mingmei yawned and came in together. The next moment, she burst out with the same expression as Lucky. Damn. Vice Admiral Kaji, your appearance. Damn. Why did I become younger? Seeing the surprised looks of the others, Kaji also quickly found a mirror. Comma. At the same time, Alabasta Palace. Ah. Vivi completely exploded. Beast. Sure enough, the celestial dragon are a bunch of beasts. He actually took Vice Admiral Tokikake to a brothel, and went there 3 times. To be honest, after Vivi saw Cam Saint eliminating the evil thieves for the common people in Nanohana, she had a little change in her view of the world government forcing her to marry. At least in her heart, this celestial dragon was not a pig-headed monster, not the kind of person who would oppress the people casually. But until the news came this morning, Vivi's impression of Cam Saint directly fell to the bottom. Vivi-sama, that's not called a brothel, it's called a life experience hall, a minister corrected. Bullshit, isn't that a brothel? Vivi cursed and punched the minister. When I come to power, I will uproot all those filthy places. Uprooted. Then wouldn't my happiness be gone? A minister frowned and said, Vivi-sama, you can't say that. In fact, King Cobra often used to. Pa ji. Before the minister could finish speaking, he was directly grabbed by Vivi and beaten back and forth like a sandbag. You must know that Vivi was also Miss Wednesday. Her combat power cannot be said to be strong, but she is definitely not comparable to some ministers who can't move their legs. Ah! Vivi-sama, don't hit me. The minister burst out with a pig-killing scream, saying that he would never talk about Cobra's youth again. Anyway, even if I die, I won't marry that kind of man. Vivi scanned the ministers present, her eyes resolute, even if that is the order of the world government. Although Vivi is a kingdom princess, she is not a fool and knows that her status is far from that of Cam Saint. So she can accept that Cam Saint is very promiscuous. But as a woman, what she can't accept the most is a man who is about to come to her door to rob her to be his wife goes to find romantic women on the way. She wanted to ask if she was that bad. Vivi-sama. Vivi-sama. At this moment, Pell came. He was responsible for paying attention to Cam Saint and his party these days. Did he go to the brothel again? Vivi asked with a livid face. Pell shook his head. No. Then what is it? Vivi asked curiously. Pell was facing a formidable enemy. He is coming to the palace. What? Vivi's face was full of horror. You must know that it is still night now. Cam Saint is coming at this time. Could it be that something is going to happen? Thinking that some indescribable things might happen today, Vivi trembled and collapsed on the ground. Vivi-sama. Pell stepped forward quickly, fearing that Vivi would fall and hurt herself. Pell, I'm fine. Vivi barely stood up, with a tragic expression on her face. If that celestial dragon acts recklessly later, you kill me. I would rather die than be defiled by that beast. Ta. Cam Saint walked very fast. His days of lingering in romantic places have not been without gains. In addition to gaining a small amount of experience points, the biggest gain is a piece of news. Cobra is seriously ill. I only remember that Cobra was killed by Amu and the 5 elders in the future, but I forgot that in just 2 years, Cobra's hair was all white, and his physical condition is conceivable. Cam Saint patted his head. He was still thinking about how to trick Vivi into his hands a few days ago, but isn't it here today? Dragon King goes down the mountain, God heals the disease, a proper routine. Let me think, which way should I bend my mouth later? Cam Saint carefully thought about the details of pretending to be a jerk later, but the next moment he was directly stunned. Wait, the 5 elders will kill Cobra in the future. Cam Saint rubbed his head. His preconceived notions prevented him from noticing this dying person at first. But if you think about it carefully, you can understand a lot. Even if I really rob Vivi back home, my cheap father-in-law will still court death later, and then be killed by the 5 elders. Cam Saint stroked his chin and thought, his face becoming more and more ugly. The hatred of killing his father, I'm afraid that we won't be able to develop feelings in the long run. Chapter 40 Conditions. The hatred of killing my father, I'm afraid that with time, no feelings will be developed. Quote. No, I can't let Cobra court death so quickly. Thinking of this, Cam sped up. Not long after. Alabasta Royal Palace. I am a world noble, esteemed Saint Crocrade Cam. Nefertari Vivi. Cam raised his head, his gaze scanning Princess Vivi up and down like a scanner. You should have received the message from the world government. As he spoke, Cam felt that Vivi's eyes were strange when she looked at him, as if she had some great hatred. Cam was very confused. This should be the first time he and Vivi met. Why is there hatred? Not only that, but some ministers also looked like they were facing a formidable enemy, and the scene was once a little depressing. Princess Vivi. Cam coughed lightly and said, I think there may be some misunderstanding between us. This is an order from the world government, and neither you nor I can control it. Shameless. Vulgar. Vivi couldn't help but mutter. Her voice was very soft, but it could be heard clearly in the wide hall. Shameless. Vulgar. Cam was dumbfounded. Why do so many people say that I am shameless and vulgar? You must know that the last woman who scolded me like this has already given herself to me for free. Esteemed Saint Crocrade Cam. At this time, a minister immediately stood up and said, Vivi-sama means, Alabasta has been suffering from drought and no rain for years, and even the lower reaches of the Sandora River are unusually dry. That's right, since King Cobra fell ill, Vivi-sama has been taking care of the affairs of the country every day, even when meeting world nobles, she is still thinking about the affairs of the country. Another minister added. What Vivi-sama said was, no Ran and lower reaches. It's definitely not scolding Lord Cam. Yes, yes, yes. The originally quiet hall suddenly became lively. Looking at these ministers, Cam covered his face in his heart. Isn't this just trying to hide something? Cam didn't care, patted his thigh and followed suit. So that's how it is. Hearing this, those ministers secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the celestial dragons are quite stupid and easy to fool. Some ministers also glared at Vivi fiercely, as if saying, you wait for me. In that case, Nefertari Vivi. I won't beat around the bush. Just like the minister said just now, King Cobra is not feeling well. I am here this time specifically to save my future father-in-law. I have the ability. Almost at the same time, Pell nodded and drew his sword. Princess Vivi is the next queen of my Alabasta. She will never. The two voices became smaller and smaller, like the buzzing of mosquitoes. Until it disappeared. Pell. Huh. Everyone. Huh. The oppressive atmosphere in the hall disappeared in an instant, replaced by disbelief. Esteemed Saint Crocrade Cam. Could it be that you have a way to treat the king's hidden illness? Agaram was the first to react and immediately bowed. Of course. Cam nodded, suddenly understanding what the atmosphere just now was because of. Ah, this. Vivi looked ashamed. After all this time, it turned out that she had misunderstood. This Cam didn't come specifically to rob her, but to treat her father. But she was puzzled again. Celestial Dragon, why should he save her father? Not only Vivi, but many ministers on the field also had the same idea. Maybe you will feel confused, why should I help you? Looking at the confused people present, Cam explained, first of all, Vivi will be my woman in the future. Secondly, I have conditions. Thirdly, the Alabasta royal family has a relationship with my clan. I accidentally heard from the clan that King Cobra was not feeling well, so I asked me to come and help King Cobra. The first two sentences Cam said were serious, and the latter half was purely nonsense. But these words had a different meaning in Vivi's ears. Origin. Father had said earlier that the world government would give their royal family face. Could it be that my royal family really has some connection with the celestial dragons? Esteemed Saint Crocrade Cam. Vivi took a step forward and asked, I wonder what your method is. Cam nodded and pointed to a sharp-faced minister and said, hey, you, come here. Bang. Immediately, there were several sets of combined punches, breaking the minister's bones. What are you doing, esteemed Saint Crocrade Cam? Vivi looked astonished, but she was secretly delighted. Well done, well done. This old man often opposes her. Princess Vivi, just watch. Cam smiled faintly, condensed a white ball of light in his palm, and slapped the ball of light on the minister's forehead. Pa pa pa. Ah, ah, ah. Several pig roars were exchanged for more slaps. He stopped only after the ball of light completely dissipated. Immediately afterwards, an incredible scene appeared. In addition to being bruised and swollen, the minister's broken bones had healed. Cam smiled and said, do you understand now? This is. Everyone present had their eyes lit up, how could they not understand? Isn't he just a devil fruit ability user? The ability is still in terms of healing. Lord Cam Saint, although your ability is powerful, King Cobra can't withstand such beatings. Agaram thought that he had to be slapped to be cured. Yes, King Cobra's body is already like that. If he gets slapped a few more times, he will be gone directly. Lord Celestial Dragon, can you pat a little lighter? Quote, quote. The other ministers echoed, feeling that this was too risky. I just can't stand his disrespect for the monarch just now, and I didn't say that the treatment must be beaten. Cam glared at everyone, his eyes finally falling on Vivi. Ah, this. Everyone was stunned, that makes sense. Vivi and Pell both laughed directly, feeling that this celestial dragon was deliberately venting his anger for her. Vivi. Esteemed Lord Celestial Dragon. Hearing this, the minister who had just been beaten complained, although your ability is powerful, it did not completely heal my injuries, so. You are so brave. Before the sharp-faced minister could finish speaking, Cam directly used a set of combined punches to beat him into a paraplegic. Who stipulates that you must heal people completely when using devil fruit abilities? Cam glared at the sharp-mouthed minister, feeling that he was really brave. If it weren't for the face of the Alabasta Kingdom, he would have killed him here. Everyone. Another pause. That's right. You have to take medicine for a few days even if you have a cold. People's abilities can heal most of the disease at once, why care about some small details, and maybe this celestial dragon deliberately didn't cure it. This. Vivi frowned, she knew very well that there was no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Cam had just said that he could come to treat her father on one condition. Esteemed Saint Crocrade Cam. Vivi took a step forward and asked, I wonder what price Alabasta needs to pay. Simple. Cam waved his hand, then scanned Vivi like a scanner. I only need you to agree to one condition. That look. Tisk tisk tisk. Everyone. Both eyes lit up. I understood it all at once. Vivi's face was even more unusually ugly. So he was waiting here. Using her father's life and death to force her to submit. Celestial dragon, really despicable and shameless. Huh. Seeing Vivi's gritted teeth, Cam was stunned. Why is it this look of great hatred again? I just hope that you can keep an eye on your dad at that time, and don't let him court death, and don't blame me when your dad really dies. Is this too much? Why, are you unwilling? Cam asked at the time. Vivi was stagnant, not knowing what to say for a while. What's the difference between using her chastity to seek national stability? Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories, and never miss out on a great listen.